I've been building Hawaii up for years, turning them into a consistent double-digit winning team, but we have never won a college football playoff game, and I want that to change this year. With 5 ranked teams on our schedule, including number 3 Notre Dame is our season opener, we have a tough year ahead of us, but I cannot stress enough how scared I am for our first game. We have our 30-game home winning streak in jeopardy versus the Fighting Irish, and although I think this is the best roster we have ever had at Hawaii, we have a lot of new faces on our defense that might not step up for us. Most notably, transfer Tyler Gripe. He comes in as an 87 overall. With his 92 speed, 92 acceleration, he could make for a very good user. We were also able to reload our defensive back room through the transfer portal or through bringing back returning starters like D'Angelo Bakatari. He was incredible. There was a game last year where the Hawaii native was able to get himself 3 pick sixes in just one game. What happens every time that we lose a game throughout the season though? Well, we have to spin this punishment wheel. One of the things that could happen is we could have one of our starting guards get attacked by a shark, and that is why 91 overall Tony Coleman will not be with us for our first 3 games, as this guy is still recovering from injury. That is a very frustrating loss for this team because, once again, this game against Notre Dame, we have our 30-game home winning streak on the line. We also could just use the win with the schedule that we have. USC on the road is coming up shortly after. Then we have Boise State. We have Washington State on here. We have Washington for the first time. There are a lot of teams for us to be worried about, especially with the goal of winning our first playoff game at Hawaii. Our athletic director, though, doesn't expect as much out of us. Somehow, he only expects us to win 60% of our home games. That should be a nice NIL bonus. I have to take you all through our budget over here, though. You're going to see half of our budget, basically, has gone into our facilities to get them up to the highest tier. We now have National Powerhouse, a plus 16% player progression bonus. It is a big deal, but it means we couldn't spend as much on our roster this year. We will have more coming in through fundraising later on in the season before the transfer portal, which is nice due to our support staff. We just aren't the team that's spending the most NIL, even on our roster inside the Pac-12. It is Boise State instead, and when you look nationally, you'll see all these other schools have major advantages. That has not stopped us from building out this incredible receiving core, though, with David DeMarco, with Ronnie Malik, with Doug McClain, with Rodney Merrill, who now is 99 speed at 6'4". I mean, even Damian Hendricks, the tight end out of Charlotte, we were able to sign in the transfer portal, who is going to be a big receiving target. Those are all notable names to mention that Jarius Lemon, the sophomore quarterback that started breaking out as a freshman, will be able to feed the football to, but his accuracy is now capped out for the remainder of his career. I'm also not sure how well we're going to run the football because Rico Camarda, the sophomore running back, is going to be taking over the backfield. We also might use this freshman a good bit. We are just always trying to get players from Hawaii out there and involved on the field. Now, these 2 4-star gyms, they aren't going to come from Hawaii, but the next few players are. Even if they're a bust, we're going to try and recruit them. I think Romeo Irving is the receiver that stands out the most to me in this class, and then we have a bunch of 3-stars from Hawaii. We even got an insta-commit early on. But look at this quarterback. It feels like every quarterback we have found from Hawaii has a very weak arm. I am not even going to spend time recruiting him. If we look at our roster versus Notre Dame's, they're spending $2,000 more than we are. However, I would say that they look incredibly similar. They also have the same quarterback that they had last year that was able to beat us. The nice thing is we're going to have our defense going up against a running back room full of freshmen. So I don't know if they're going to be able to run the football as effectively. If you remember last year's game, though, it was a defensive battle, and I'm assuming this one could be too since it's in the rain. I have to say, I am extremely disappointed once again that our new stadium's construction is still not finished. It is now 3 years delayed. The whole reason to build out Hawaiian Team Builder was for the new features, but as you can see, the EA Sports logo's there, and that wasn't last week. It feels like with every update, they literally just break Team Builder more. It functioned better when the game launched. It's just mind-blowing at this point that we haven't been able to update anything throughout this series, and we might never be able to, but Hawaii has still reached new heights. Obviously, if our new stadium's construction ever gets finished, I think that would accelerate it a little bit. We don't need it, though. We have been packing out this stadium for years. We're on a 30-game home winning streak for a reason. We also don't seem to have any issues running the ball with Rico Camarda so far, the sophomore running back getting a couple carries for 20 yards. He already looks better than he did the season before. I will tell you that. We are going to be able to find him in the flat here because nobody is marking him, and I like that juke. I have to say, so far, this is a really good drive out of us. We're going to be able to decimate that zone coverage, but then drop the ball. I really hope I haven't jinxed everything as Rico Camarda does it again. We really struggled to finish out our drives against the Fighting Irish last season, so I'm hoping that we can this year. The freshman running back from Hawaii is going to get his first carry and his first touchdown. What a start to his career. Maybe it only gets better from here. Alani Halapio has done everything I was hoping for, plus more so far. Let's see if their freshman running back can do the same. I don't think it's going to be any surprise. We come out in a 4-3. They had the option for an RPO. We make the tackle. D'Angelo Bakatari is all over the field at most times, but he can run. Tyler Group is also going to need to have himself a really good game, but the transfer linebacker, I'm feeling a lot of elusiveness on him. That's exactly what you would hope for, and we just got sucked down a little bit. That is not good coverage from Sims. Our 86 overall strong safety can't even make that play. We also aren't having success with the hit stick. It's another missed tackle. Notre Dame past midfield. Maybe Joey Cheeks will be able to wrap up instead here, and he helps. We could switch over to man-to-man coverage too, but I just feel more comfortable sitting in zone. It's going to be a first down as we miss the tackle. We also got a freshman linebacker out here too that is Hawaiian. I am telling you right now, there are lots of new faces on this defense. Notre Dame is just picking us apart. What if we were to get a little bit more aggressive here, though? We aren't able to catch him. 5 more. Although there haven't been any big plays, anything too exciting so far, I think both teams are just feeling each other out early on. We are going to have ourselves a good game here. That is no question. On 3rd down, we could intercept this, but Cheeks can't do it. Unfortunately, Notre Dame is still going to get 3. It is still a big deal that that's all they got, though. And what can we do with McLean? I thought he had it. The sophomore receiver is one of our fastest players, but until we see some of our seniors graduate, he won't have too big of a receiving role. I really do like the idea of us leaning a lot on stuff like RPOs this year, but it's going to be 3rd and 4. I will say it does seem like a no-brainer to just hit Merrill immediately with the slant, but instead, we held on to it for too long. That was a really fast 3 and out from Notre Dame, and they're also going to return it to the 30. Are they going to hit us with another RPO, though? I mean, that's kind of what I'm expecting. They've had so many of them in this game that we are just going to man up their slot receiver, and we get the sack. It is Jamison Cummins that is coming all over them on 3rd and 12. They can't make it to the first down marker. We are going to set up the greatest college football returner of all time with an opportunity to get something going here. Ronnie Malik has won the Jet Award every single year he has been in college. He could do the 4-peat, breaking off of a tackle. We're not going to get too much out of that, though. We're going to run with the speed option here. And Notre Dame's just got a lot of players around there, but Rico Camarda doesn't seem to care. He has actually been so effective for us so far, and I think we got to hit him in stride. On 2nd down, Notre Dame looks like they're begging us to run it, but no, we just fell for it. We did exactly what they wanted us to. And how is that man-to-man coverage sticking on Ronnie Malik? Talk about a throw from Jarius Lemon. Our first down run only went for a yard, but we decided to go back to it and now give us the first. Rico Camarda only has 55 rushing yards so far, but his performance feels like it's been more. This has not really been a huge offensive game. He has been a huge portion of it. He will not be in for this next carry, though. Instead, we got Alani back out there. Not a great look. If you've seen a lot of this series, though, one of the things we like to do whenever we are this close is we like to go with some slants because we can eventually get somebody open, and that right there is how you end a first half against the number 3 team. You know, as well as this is making us look at the moment, I'm starting to think that Notre Dame just might not be all that good this season. That is also a very real possibility. What are we saying about Jamison Cummins, though? That is his 2nd sack of the day. It's going to be a pass for Notre Dame, and we can knock that ball out. Here we go, 3rd and 16. We are protecting the sticks. We are sitting back in cover 3. We even sent a 4-man stunt, and we're going to get some pressure. You know, I don't know what it'll take for our Stadium Pulse to get inside the top 25 ever, but I feel like our home field advantage has really kicked in the last couple years. Ronnie Malik, make him miss. You know you're faster. You know you're faster. Who was it that came to Hawaii last year and we also did really well against? I feel like it was Oregon. We were able to dominate against them, even though they're really good. I can't get too carried away, though. There is still a lot of time left in this game. We just happen to be in a good position. I guess we got a little bit too much elusiveness on us there, and now it is 3rd and 14. We are going to make the throw underneath the Ronnie Malik. He is short. He is also down -5 speed, but our senior kicker seems to have a very strong and accurate leg. It just made it. That was a little too close, but it worked out for us, and Tyler Gripe is going to get the interception. I wasn't sure if he came away with it. Now he has a chance at the pick 6, but they bring him down. The junior linebacker has got to come back next season. I do not want him to go to the NFL early. We will most likely have to pay him a bag for that to happen. And can Rico Camarda hit the outside? That is how the sophomore is going to make it in. Notre Dame is rattled. We are making Heisman difficulty look like cake right now. It is so much fun having a home field advantage. I am not sure how many of the best teams on our schedule, though, we actually get to play at home this season. Will Notre Dame ever get things going? If they aren't able to score on this drive, I feel pretty comfortable saying no. That was the first 5-star we've ever signed getting that tackle there too. Mafu Fine from Hawaii. He is right off of that edge. We're going to have the freshman out there on a lot of these plays. 3rd down. Here we go. We have some of our best guys in coverage out there on the field. However, we left him open. There is still like this small little bit of hope that Notre Dame is going to carry unless we can get a stop. I have to say the guy that we just tackled, Slade Slaughter, has a pretty insane name. Looks like we're going to get the sack. We have kind of had the same idea on what to do on 3rd down, though, every single time. Just sit back in coverage, and we're good. It only didn't work the one time a few plays ago. Every other time, they just have not been able to find somebody open, and we're slipping, but it actually gave us a chance there. Okay, from this spot, I would love to think that we can just control this game, that it's going to be over from here, but we throw a pick. We throw a pick instead. Jarius Lemon is not having the start of the season that you would want, but it's the one you'd expect against a top 3 team. It looked like we were in position to get that ball, but it's just not how it went. I really don't appreciate Notre Dame still has this little sliver of hope. Then we are going to get hit with this penalty as well. Caden Bigham's roughing the passer, puts them on the 10, and the halfback screen turns into a 3-yard loss. I really want to feel confident enough in this defense that Notre Dame isn't going to score. I mean, it is already 3rd and 11. They decided to run. All we have to do is just keep them out of the end zone, and I feel like we should be able to do that with this tackle. Jarius Lemon will not be throwing the football anymore, though. Instead, we'll be trying to run it, and this could be a safety. It could be a safety. These are the types of things that kind of concern me. Alani Halapio gets thrown down. This entire game, Notre Dame wasn't stopping the run that well, but they sure have in the 4th quarter. It would be nice to imagine we put this one away a long time ago, but in actuality, Notre Dame is still fighting. Jamison Cummins just happens to have 3 sacks, so he is having the game of his life, and you're not going to scramble here. There is no shot that he should be moving well after that. Go for a deep play. Go for a deep play. We just could not get there with D'Angelo Bakatari. However, I feel pretty comfortable saying Notre Dame should not be able to come back from here. 3 minutes remaining. I'm just a little bit worried about our wear and tear already. Senior linebacker Dwayne Fogg, he is down like -5 speed, and this is the first game of the season. I feel like we should have had that interception there. 4th and 4. Can we just end this? Can we end this once and for all? Should be an interception. We got it with Deacon Church. And it's not going to be a pick 6, or maybe it is. Maybe it is going to be a pick 6. Maybe it is. For just blowing them out strictly, it would have been nice. What on earth are we supposed to do whenever this is what it's like trying to run the ball against Notre Dame, though? We cannot get our right guard back faster. You know what? Let's just take a shot. David DeMarco was underthrown. You know what, though? I have an opportunity here to get a perfect punt, and if they don't catch this, it could take a good bounce. It could take a good bounce, and it does. Take a look at this beauty. Listen, Bengal, I am coming for you. I'm coming for you to be the best punter on YouTube. Do we think that they're going to run it here? Oh, they're not going to. They're not going to. We were hoping to get the safety. I think that is enough garbage time for you old F to sit through, though. We are going to win this game 24-5. Notre Dame never scored a touchdown against our defense. We played that one in week 0, though, so we have to wait another week to see where we're really going to move up to in the polls. I mean, I'm really hoping that result alone can have a big impact on our brand exposure. Maybe it gets our stadium atmosphere up to a B grade. The next team we face at home is Utah State, and I just don't think a win against them is going to carry the same amount of weight. These are the types of games I've learned too, where every team in the Pac-12 really wants to beat some of the best teams, and they give you their best performance. So we got to watch out for Adrian Smoot. He's an 83 overall running back. They got an 80 overall quarterback in RJ Artmore. You just never know how a game's going to go, and in a couple of weeks, we have to head on the road to number 4 USC. I am really proud of how far we have made it with this Hawaii series. I feel like every year we really have taken a step forward. This is kind of the season that worries me, though, because there's no guarantees we continue to do that. Now, if Ronnie Malik can get his first kick return of the season, well, that is going to help. I feel like someone could make like an 8-minute YouTube compilation of all of his kick returns. That is how many he has had in this series. It has just been insane to watch. As for Utah State, This poor team is not getting off to a hot start. We have placed RJ Artmore in a horrendous position, and he wants to throw us a pick. You know, if we can dominate against a lot of the teams in the Pac-12, this season could be so much fun. On 3rd and 7, we are going to be pressing. We might as well see if our man-to-man coverage can stick. No way they make this throw on the run. No way. This is how we're getting beat. Okay, maybe we need to respect RJ Artmore. Maybe we need to respect Utah State a little bit more. We have freshman Greg Dicker out there as our user right now. He's our backup free safety, and they had an option to throw that to either side of the field. You know, for how well we started, they are trying to show that they can still compete with us. On 2nd and 13, they motioned him over for a run. You could sniff it out. D'Angelo Bacatari was not going to let that go for anything, and Tyler Group makes the hit. I don't know if it is Gripe or Group. I looked it up, and it said you say it is Gripe. However, I just re-looked back at that search, and that's because it was auto-correcting to me searching Gripe's pronunciation. I never said I was the smartest man in the room. It probably is Group. We're just going to ignore the first 15 minutes of this video where I looked a little bit dumb. Now, if we could get a touchdown off of one of these early runs, that is the best way that we could start this game. However, we are also leaving the opportunity open for some deep throws. On 3rd and 2, we are just going to hand this one off, and we should be able to hit this lane decently well. Do we have the speed? No. Rico Camarda is just going to get caught, but we're going to hit him with the pitch here for not much. We should be able to decimate some of these Utah State corners, though, especially if they're sitting in man-to-man coverage, so that's just something I want to keep in mind. I also don't like how we are already taking a sack. It is kind of wild that Ronnie Malik and David DeMarco are already seniors, too. It feels like just yesterday we picked up the 4-stars. They were very early signings for us. On 3rd and 9, we might be scrambling or not. Okay, well, Utah State is going to keep it competitive. Another issue we have against schools like them versus Notre Dame is we're not as locked in as we probably need to be. We just kind of expect over the course of the game, we are going to be able to run away with things. We are going to lock down in situations like that. On 3rd and 9, we are sitting in a cover 4 look, and somebody jumped. It was us. I'm not sure how to feel about Caden Biggums yet. We might just have 5-star Mafu Fine take his starting spot. We could make this tackle before they reach the marker too. That was a major play from Connor Sims. And is Ronnie Malik going to do it to them again? Is Ronnie Malik going to potentially do it to them again? You have to feel bad because we are spending like 5 times as much as Utah State is on our roster. There is a competitive advantage. I really don't know what other teams in the Pac-12 are doing with their money, but it's not investing in their team. I mean, obviously, us and Boise State have a little bit more money to work with. However, nothing is stopping them from also spending a little bit more. And if we just place this pass well, we'll have the first. Alani Halapio is going to take this next carry for nothing. I told you, we are going to continue to try and get him involved as much as we possibly can. David DeMarco should be running a good enough route here to catch the touchdown. I think the challenge with Jarius Lemon, though, is going to be how many interceptions does he throw this year? I really want him to only have a few. We are going to get a halfback screen on 2nd down and push him out. Can we get Utah State off of the field, shading underneath? Where's our defensive pressure? We are stuck. We are stuck, but we still get back to it. D'Angelo Bacataria is just not able to hang on to the football. And Ronnie Malik, you should be trying to catch this. You should be trying to turn this into a return. You know, the funny thing about some of the guys we signed for this roster is one of our biggest signings, our transfer tight end, we just haven't used so far this season. What a run, though. But yeah, we have so many good players out there that we just aren't able to feed everybody the rock, and that'll be a sack. I'm not sure who Jarius Lemon is thinking that he is right now, but he's going to get another good run. It does seem like throughout the course of his career, he could turn into a little bit of a scrambler, and we're going to take our check down. Hendricks is reaching for the first. This is one of those pivotal plays that could change the game if we aren't able to pick it up, but I kind of expected we would. Even without our 91 overall right guard, still recovering from that shark attack, we're winning the battle up front. He will be back just in time for USC, which is, again, the biggest game I'm really worried about so far this season. Can we get that block? We're going to get out of bounds. Now we have to worry about a 3rd and 3, and we don't have it. We are going to be aggressive here, though. Even though we could take a 3-possession lead, I feel like we can just find Higdon. The idea is we demoralize Utah State. We get our touchdown before the end of the first half, and they feel like there's no chance in the second. It's the best strategy if we are able to continue stopping them and we aren't missing tackles. The only time that they were able to move it down the field against us was whenever we went with man-to-man coverage and RJ had that wild throw. They have started to find something, though. They are staying running, hurry up, and we get the pressure in. That is just a really tough spot for a quarterback to be in whenever we're bringing heat like that. Watching over the middle. Don't give it up. Don't give it up. No way. No way. Tyler Groupie getting back to the football. I told you, he was going to have a major impact on this team, and there's no way. There's no way that they're pressing right now because we got two guys on the outside that are very, very fast. Let's hook up with the sophomore receiver as he runs in stride. He's just going to get missed by the safety, and it is 31-3. There is a chance that this gets really ugly for Utah State, but they made that catch on third down. Somehow we didn't turn around for that. I'm really confused how that's even possible, but we'll get the sack. All we have done from that moment is just really run the football down the field. Every so often, we'll pass it if we really need to. The idea, though, was take time while just making sure that we beat Utah State. It's exactly what we have done. We start Pac-12 playoff the right way. Jarius Lemon didn't have a single incompletion either. He only had to complete 11 passes in this one. We fed a decent amount of carries to Alani Halapio. We also saw Jarius Lemon try to scramble a bit. It's going to take us up to number 3 in the country, but USC is number 4. Miami, who beat us in the college football playoff last year, they're number 1. There are lots of teams around, but I'm really focused on teams like Boise State, Washington State, because they're on our schedule later in the year. Those are chances for other quality wins, while teams like Texas State aren't really going to increase our reputation around the country. We don't have an opportunity to hard sell yet on either one of these 4-star gyms, but if Tennessee really wants Maurice, we aren't going to be able to compete with that pipeline unless we offer double the money. It is kind of that moment where we have to decide, is it worth it to give him 200? We're going to have a lot of dynasty points available, so do we take this chance because he could have a really good dev trait as a gym? When it comes to Texas State, they do have one corner that can keep up with any of our receivers, 97 speed, so we do have to keep that in mind if they're pressing. Just literally don't throw it in the direction of number 21. Outside of that, though, at quarterback, 73 overall, he isn't fast. Neither is Emmett Daniels. I mean, honestly, we could probably run man-to-man coverage against them the entire game. The Bobcats just don't have a roster that should concern us. They also don't have that big of a fan base that is showing out for this one, most likely because their last couple seasons haven't been that successful. There is no home field advantage that we are going to have to worry about. But we do need to worry about the temperature. It is 99 degrees. It is going to be a hot day for us. We're the better team. All we have to do is control the pace. To really take care of business in matchups like this too, we might be better off just limiting some of the possessions. On the other hand, if they can't stop our offense, we should be running up the score as fast as we can. 2nd and 9 looks like it is going to be another run. We really do shine at stopping the run this season. On 3rd and long, don't give it up. Don't give it up. We just tackled him into a first down for no reason at all. Here they go, though, continuing to try and run the football against us, and it's just not there. Is Dwayne Fogg going to give up something huge on 3rd and 15? That's what we need to be worried about. It is a sack. 5-star edge out of Hawaii. Mafu Fine gets the first one in his career. And could we see a second punt return out of Ronnie Malik? I guess he had a kick return, so he hadn't had a punt return yet this season. No. Either way, we have set up our offense in a very nice spot. 53 yards gets us a simple touchdown. We start this game up 7-0. It's all that we are asking for. Rico Camarda, though, he is not able to take that one to the house. I don't think he has the same breakaway speed we've had on a couple of our running backs, but he is a very consistent runner. As he continues to get better and better, I'm very excited to see where his career can go, especially behind our line. This might be the easiest touchdown of all time, though. Texas State is most likely going to blitz after we've run successfully for a few plays, and David DeMarco will get open. You know, a lot of our man-to-man coverage has most likely worked so far because they haven't tried to pass it deep against us. If they do, well, we could run into some issues. Whenever we've been sitting in press man-to-man, we are shading underneath and to the inside, but that leads to plays like this. On 2nd and 10, it's a read option. We'll bring him down. I feel pretty confident with how our defense is going to look on this next play, and we're good. Defensive tackle Bobby Whitaker has been another major player on this team so far. Using that speed, they get hands on Ronnie Malik. They're going to bring him down. No, they're not. No, they're not. They are not going to bring down the 3-time, soon-to-be 4-time Jet Award winner. He throws it up in there and catches it on the ground as a celebration I have never seen that before in my life. Who does he think he is? I swear, every time I play this game, I see something new that I didn't know existed. I don't think that's a celebration that you can normally just trigger. I've never noticed it. That was the coolest celebration in college football 27. I'm calling it right now. 2nd and 9. Is there any hope for Texas State? Is there any hope for Texas State? Show up now. If you can't do anything here, we might as well just head back to Hawaii early. No need for us to stay any longer. Bobby Whitaker with the pressure once again. Do we see any magic out of Ronnie Malik here? I mean, that last touchdown sure was magic. Can't spin out of this. It is going to be a long game for the Bobcats, though, that we are just going to look to control after going up 14-0. They are at least smart by not pressing our receivers. I know they have that one corner that could still get away with pressing. I say all that, though, to just see this as we come out for our next play, and I think Ronnie Malik is going to have the step here. He was not guarded by 21. He was guarded by an 85 speed corner. All of our big players have showed up for this game so far. It might continue to get worse too. On 3rd and 14, Dwayne Fogg is going to be my user. We're just watching over the middle, and that's the read they make. We could fair catch this with Ronnie Malik, but I wanted to try and turn it into a return instead. And what do you know? Ronnie Malik is going to be racing down from the 30 to the 20 to the 10. He's down the sideline, and he is in the end zone for his 2nd punt return of the day. The rest of this game is just going to be a disaster for Texas State, as Alani Halapio is going to be able to make it 42-0. Seriously, though, it's just not pretty. My only hope was we would hold them to 0. That is not going to happen with them settling for 3 after that sack. It's really nice for us to just go out and dominate the way that we did defensively. What I don't know is if that's how our game against USC is going to go. Now, we are doing a little bit of scouting. We just found another gym quarterback, 87 speed, 4-star. Only Georgia Tech wants him. He could be a big name for us a few years down the line, but we're going to have Jarius Lemon for a bit too. USC, number 3 in the country at the moment. We got to worry about Joey Spadola, one of their receivers. They average 32 points per game, but we're only giving up 3 per game. I'm not sure where we'd be ranked if we beat them on the road, but we are currently below them, so we have to prove we're better. You know, with Steve Watford being a 91 overall running back, with Addison Sanders being another solid receiver, they have an 86 overall quarterback, Ted Ricci. I am a little bit nervous. This is easily the most complete offense that we've had to face. Notre Dame was clearly missing a couple positions, and it is another game of the week. If you are wondering the best way to make more NIL money for your program as you grow it, it is winning stuff like Game of the Weeks because it increases your brand exposure. Your brand exposure is on a scale that slides so fast. You can get up to 6,000 NIL if you have an A+ brand exposure. I think we've made it to B-. The higher you go, though, the more ridiculous the jumps are. Like, I think our next jump from B- to B gets us like 500 extra. Then if you can get from a B to a B+, it's like another 750. It's not huge increases to your school grades, but it's a lot more money. We don't have our home field advantage, though, that we had against Notre Dame, which was really helpful in week 0. On 2nd and 7, they are going to go to the air. We were prepared for this, but we cannot make the first tackle. Okay, I still think we're in a really good spot for this first 3rd and 4. That was a nice route, but we got to it. Senior safety Connor Sims sniffed that out the entire way, and Ronnie Malik, it is time for you to return to the form that we saw in last week's game. He thought he was going to be able to fit into 2 of his teammates there, but he couldn't just squeeze on through. He was a little too big. This is our receiver comparison. We actually have the advantage over USC. I mean, that says a lot about what we've been able to build with Hawaii. You know, credit to Rico Camarda. He was not looking like this during his freshman season. However, we're not going to celebrate too early off of 120-yard run. We still need to be able to at least get in field goal range. That drop is not helping. 3rd and 10. Are we going to get open? We do. We do? No. This might be a defensive battle for us. I feel like that punt, though, is going to put them out around the 5. We have placed the Trojans in a tough position. Do they have what it takes to drive 95 yards down the field against us? Good start. On 2nd and inches, I can only assume to know what's coming. We were playing hard flats, though. Why did he just do that? He should have been guarding the screen. That is actually incredibly frustrating. They aren't going to run the football here, but they are going to beat us very deep. They're going to beat us very deep, and it's an underthrow, thank goodness. Connor Sims only has 85 speed. It's a miracle he got back to that football. Going to be a 3rd and 6. We're going to see what Ted Ricci is made of here. We're going to come out and cover 2. We really haven't run that much throughout this season. And Tyler Roop cannot get back to the football. We have already given up more points than we have in any other game this season. It's a little bit of a wake-up call, but USC does not have running defense. I mean, from what we have seen so far, we should be able to run the football all over them. I don't know what's going on there. Apparently, that little speed boosting thing you see has been a bug in the last few games, and they are taking it out. I highly doubt it was a bug from the start, though, because it's made the last 3 games, and they're just now addressing it. They patched it in Madden. This might be the last video in the series where we have it. Sometimes it can be really helpful for runs, but other times it just forces us to literally run into players that we wouldn't want to otherwise. Can we catch the football? I know that we had our running back open, but we were just going for the larger gain there. Fortunately, up the seam, we're going to have the sophomore receiver, and Merrill is in the end zone. The 6'4" receiver was not going to get caught there. That is what is so dangerous about him. Watching the flat, they just go to the other side. Good tackle. Can you believe how much better our tackling has gotten throughout this series? I mean, some of those first years, we were missing so many. We aren't going to be able to make it out to the bubble to pick it. It was a free play for USC anyway. I swear, Caden Biggums might just have the IQ of a rock. He continues to be offside time and time again. It is only him too. Nobody else on our defensive line has been committing those penalties. We're going to whiff that tackle. You know, if there is anything I've learned from the last time that they were in this formation, we're just going to run man-to-man. We played that so much better. It is now 3rd and 9. And are we going to be able to get USC off of the field? Well, we're giving up a couple of these routes. There's way too much time back there, but eventually we get our pressure. It is not Caden Biggums. It is Jamison Cummins. So I think Mafu Fine is really going to become the starter for every play now. The 5-star's gotten in a couple of times, but I just wasn't sure if he was ready to start already. What a stiff arm. You know, another thing that's going to be really helpful for us is we have Tony Coleman back, our 91 overall right guard. He was able to make that block on the last play that a lot of our guards throughout the series just typically couldn't. How often are we going to be able to run the football this much, though? You got to get that throw out. That stadium pulse is going to be a little bit crazy, but I do feel like Doug McClain should be open in the flat, which is why I was dialed in ready to throw it to him. USC had a similar idea, though. They were able to stop us there, and now we just have to hope that this takes a good bounce. All right, 1st and 10. Check down is there. Flat is there. Our coverage really did a solid job, though. And I thought we were going to make that tackle. Instead, it is a breakaway play for USC. They have had 2 of these now. I am seeing why Spadola is such a problem. These wide receiver screens are such a pain for us to stop. We almost need to take Tyler Grupe out of the play for stopping the run just to watch for the bubble there. And thankfully, we have other guys that step up. We are going to lean on them on 3rd and 14. USC, are they in field goal range with where they're at right now? Because we're going to give that check down away. We're going to trust a tackle. Addison Sanders gets them most likely close enough to hit this kick, but it could have been far worse. We could have given up a touchdown. What we really need to do is just find success actually throwing the football, because the only thing that's working right now is running. And we can run most of this game. There will just become a point where Rico Camarda gets extremely tired, and when he does, who do we lean on? I will tell you right now, it cannot be the 71 overall freshman. We're going to have Rodney Merrill open, though. See if he turns this into more. He did not, but we're going to have a really nice halfback dive that we're caught on. I'm telling you right now, Rico Camarda is good for a 15-yard explosive run, but no big finish. I don't know what it's going to take to get him to finish, but I need him to finish at some point throughout his career. We're actually just going to scramble for this. We're trying to make sure that USC doesn't see this football again in this half. 3rd and inches is going to be marked short. Do we kick? You know, I don't love this, but we can at least make sure the game is tied up. And we'll go into halftime at 10-10. Now, this Game of the Week halftime in video is very quickly being sponsored by Underdog. My dilemma today was whether or not Caleb Williams will have another year like this. I was just making some of my final season-long predictions. I saw he needed to throw for a little over 3,600, and I went for it. Now, I understand it's not for everybody, but if you do enjoy making picks like this, CodeBoard will get you $50 on Underdog. Once you play with 5, make sure you play responsibly, and that is your short halftime promo. I think with us getting the ball to start the 3rd quarter, that is just what we needed to do there. We're going to actually slip around our center. Are we going to be able to throw the football, though? I mean, we have to have some success eventually. 9 first downs to the 4 that the Trojans have, and a halfback screen feels like it could be extremely effective. Rico Camarda can't break the tackle. He was one broken tackle away, though, from a touchdown, and we're trying to take the top off of the USC defense. Come on. We didn't really have a choice because I already saw that Alani Halapio was needing to be subbed in. I told you eventually we were going to be stuck just leaning on our backup running back, and that's not what you want. Thankfully, Rico Camarda is going to be back out there on the field within just a few plays. We continue to see injury timeouts for him, though, and it's just too early on in the season for us to be dealing with that. It's bruised ribs that continues to pop up. We're going to continue to sub him out as well. I don't want to lose him for a longer portion of the season. It's going to make our offense need to work through Alani Halapio. I think our offensive line really overpowers some of the defensive lines across the country now, though, which is such a nice surprise. On 2nd and 5, maybe they think that we're going to go to the air, and then we hit him with the halfback draw. Rico Camarda's back out there, and that is how you finish it off. All right, 1st and 10 for the Trojans. We had their slot receiver manned up. It's actually the exact defense I think we're going to sit in, as they have hit that bubble so many times against us. Here on 2nd and 11, nobody's open, right? He might have us beat. He might have us beat, and he's still on his feet. What is this? What is this? That's such an impressive touchdown. I can't even get upset. It's like freshman Ryan Williams-esque. I mean, that was just an unbelievable play. Unbelievable. That is what we are going up against. On 2nd and 12, we lose 2 more. We are now 20 carries deep with Rico Camarda 2, and we just got to force this in there, but we can't connect. I mean, that one just broken touchdown has set the entire tone for the rest of this game. USC is in a better position, obviously, because of it. I kind of thought we figured out the sauce for stopping a lot of their RPOs. It was not enough, though. Going to be 3rd and 11. Okay, here we are still sitting in that match, cover 3, and he drops it. You know, we were supposed to have him covered. I don't even know how he got open in the first place, but that works out for us. Is Ronnie Malik going to try and return this? I think you should. No. What are we talking about there? He just didn't catch the ball. The best returner in the country. Oh, but we hit the hole perfectly, so we're fine. I was sweating a little bit there. We have to march 99 yards down the field to get that go-ahead touchdown. It's what we are hoping for. 2nd and 7, we really just have a simple read, and it's not open. It's not open. They should have intercepted it. The fact that they're also hitting them with defensive PI is just nuts. It is a mind-boggling bailout that I don't care about. Thank goodness we got it. We are going to be okay for a little bit longer. Kind of like what we saw with Notre Dame the longer the game went on for. They are getting a lot better at stopping the run. It's going to be 3rd and 8. As we head into this 4th quarter, we have a huge moment coming up. It is this route combo that we always seem to go to whenever we need a big play as well. You know, it's always fun to be in a defensive chess match until you aren't able to close the game out. I think we kind of have each other figured out, and that's how you guard the bubble. Okay, we're staying with this defense. Joey Cheeks could get burned here, but 99% of the time, I think this is the look that we're really hoping for. We just aren't able to make that tackle. I really do believe we have found something, though, in manning up that slot receiver. When it's 2nd and 7 and he's not manned up, Joey Cheeks is just put in isolation. We miss another. I'm just not entirely sure how to feel about any of this. There's a flag, too. They're probably hitting us with face masks. It's just the worst ending to the play that we could have had. You know what would be nice, though? If we could get them to throw that ball. It was the same RPO we've seen them use multiple times against us. There we go. It is now 3rd and 9. Our games against USC are always so tight. Great defense. That was a huge hit from D'Angelo Beccaria. I really haven't been making him my user this season because he's in a nice spot. Since he progressed a lot through last season, he can now cover the field a lot better without me having to do anything manually. It is no longer time for us to worry about defense, though. We have 4.5 minutes to score the game-winning touchdown. On 2nd and 5, we are just going to quickly hit Rodney Merrill. I feel like it's very fair to say he has not shown up for most of this season, but we need him to right now. He has so far in this game, and if this is cover 3, we could have another big play with him. Instead, though, we're just going to find Doug McClain, and that works about as well. Just like that, we know for a fact that we should be able to tie it up from this position at the very least with a field goal. Rico Camarda, though, is taking so much damage from wear and tear. It is really scary. I don't think he's going to be at his best for the rest of this one, and they knock it out. We didn't get as much separation as I would have liked. Ronnie Malik is going to be the main read on this play, but our hitch is there, and we are short. We have never been the passive type of team to kick in these situations. With this being such a big game, though, even after second-guessing our decision, we're going to do it. I feel like our defense should be able to get a stop against USC. We're going to put them at the 14. They're also going to bring out the RPO, and we're all over it. We were all over it. Okay, 2nd and 3. This is a little bit of a different situation, and it's a pick. It's a pick from Connor Sims. He gets it done for Hawaii. The bait worked. The bait actually worked. I love hard flats so much. He got down there immediately, and we just got to run. What will USC do from here? I don't love that the speed option is the next play that we're in. I also don't love Alani Halapio is the running back that is out there. We could still end this game with 1 first down. And are we going to see man-to-man coverage? Ronnie Malik gets clamped. Ronnie Malik gets clamped up. Make the tackle. Make the tackle. I don't even know what to say. I thought for sure he was going to be able to get separation in that situation. It is now a major 2nd down. We're calling a timeout. Okay, I feel like the Trojans are just going to run the football here. And we aren't able to stop the run. We might have actually choked this one. We might have actually choked it. This is not good. This is not good at all. Can we get the pick? Can we get the pick? We got it. Connor Sims does it a 2nd time. And Connor Sims is going to make sure that Hawaii stays undefeated. 2 picks at the end. Who is he feeling like? He has saved this team. We don't deserve this win. We just don't deserve it. With no timeouts left, USC would need to get out of bounds. Please get back to that. Please get back to that. You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Were we pressed? Were we pressed? No, we were not pressed at all. Joey Spaladola is just that good. He's that fast. We better lock in right now. USC's going for the 2-point conversion. They're going for the 2-point conversion, and he is open. We're going to lose this game. We are going to lose this game. This is the type of stuff that happens. Ronnie Malik, it's your time to shine. Ronnie Malik, it is your time to shine. No, it is not. I can't even... what do I say about that? That is the most ridiculous thing I think I've ever seen. You know, we should have been more backed off, but I just didn't even imagine that could happen. We obviously did not play the best offensive game, but we saw a Sadarico Camarda that could have carried us to a win, especially with some of those picks. Our defense wanted us to get the dub, and what are some of these new commit screens? I don't think this looks good. For whatever reason, they changed up all the pop-ups. Do you see how that just zoomed in like that? I don't know who asked for this, but EA, that just doesn't look good. I will say at least they finally fixed the bug that has been in every single game at launch where Hawaii has an F proximity to home. Now it's an A+, so we can recruit players from Hawaii a little bit better. You know, you just got to feel bad for the small indie companies sometimes, though. That bug happens to make it in every single game. It's actually helping out our recruiting a good bit now that it's patched. I mean, Tennessee will most likely still sign this receiver. We should probably pull out. We don't need to be spending 200 NIL on one guy. But another issue is I thought we were going to get this linebacker, and then Tennessee entered the battle with their Tier 5 pipeline. I guess it is back to trying to scout some of these 4-stars before we go all in. 91 speed on a running back. Nobody wants him from Colorado. You know, it's a little enticing, especially since it's only going to cost us about 100 of our 3,500 NIL available. If we could have just beat USC, though, next season we would have even more NIL available because stuff like our brand exposure would continue to go up. That was such a painful loss that we could have avoided. It's made them the #1 team in the country. At least we are still inside the top 10. We now really need to keep other big games on our calendar circled, though, like Boise State, Washington State, and Washington, because those are opportunities for us to get other ranked wins. I just can't believe how our defense performed. When it comes to us picking up a loss, though, we do have to spin the punishment wheel, and our starting strong safety is going to miss film session to feed Seagulls -10 awareness. This is actually incredibly detrimental to this team if you know how important awareness is in this game. Connor Sims has just 83. It's going to go down to a 73. This is after he is coming off of the best performance in his career. I guess he was feeling so good about it, even though we lost, that he decided to spend some time with seagulls. Whichever one of you wrote that, by the way, I hope you all are correct about there being seagulls in Hawaii. I let you all come up with the punishments on my Instagram. I do remember seeing a lot of seagulls whenever I went to California. They're in LA, they're in San Francisco, but can they fly that far over the ocean without taking a rest? I feel like they wouldn't be able to. You gotta have a lot of stamina to fly from the coast to Hawaii. I don't know, maybe they do still get there. The ocean, I gotta say, that's gotta be the scariest place on Earth. It terrifies me. It is massive. It is deep. We haven't been able to discover most of it. You don't know what is out there. And are we gonna get another sack, or are they gonna get nothing? absolutely nothing because Connor Sims is still getting interceptions. You know how much of a nice vibe this is versus facing off against the Trojans? You can just see how much better we are in comparison. We aren't sweating anything out. We're sitting in stock coverage, and we are still locking down. We're going to find the seam. What was that? I didn't even hit a button here. I would genuinely love to know, what is this? What on earth is happening mid-play? I didn't press a single thing for him to just do this and avoid the football. I'm really trying to just play the game and have a good time, not be nitpicky, but like, how can you ignore something like that? What is going on right now? Third down, we put our zig route out there. It's not open. It's not open. Why are you holding on to it? We are just in the gutter right now. This whole team is shattered. The field goal is going to go wide. Send this entire team to the gulag. The fact that we gave up that touchdown at the end against USC, I mean, I'm not even getting excited about Joey Cheeks getting a pick 6 right here. So far, Terrence Jamison is the worst quarterback we have ever faced off against. Is there one redeeming thing about him? Because I have yet to see it. And they have no choice but to run. Maybe part of the blame can be put on his receivers too, though. 3rd and 3, he takes the sack. Don't even get me started on the fact that we also are playing this game at home. It could get ugly fast. San Diego State almost looks helpless out there. They don't look like a team that is on Hawaii's level. That's just the best way to put it. I mean, we have a wide open Doug McClain who has enough time to bring that catch in like that. It is just such a drastic difference versus facing off against USC. All of that for just 1 yard, though, on 2nd and 9. I mean, the blocks are there. 15 more. This is our bounce back performance. This is our get back after we had such a painful loss. That is not going to be a touchdown, though. So now we just get the explosive run with Rico Camarda. We will see if the Aztecs have any answer for this defense that we've been sitting in, and there's just no way. There is just no way Joey Cheeks gets burnt like that. You know, we don't have the best corners in the world. They're not the fastest, so that could be expected. However, I still wanted to put our faith in this team, and they're going to break off of the tackle. Okay, they might score. We got a couple early interceptions, and we got way too disrespectful to San Diego State. We are still going to try and finish this one in the first half, but look at the fight. They are not just going to go away. I don't think that they're going to run it here. We got to get out to the running back because he's not open. We are sending tons of blitzes so far, and it is panning out. Doug McClain might be able to get a kick return going for us too with his speed. He'll take over next year. What I'm most interested in, though, is are they going to press Ronnie Malik? Should we try and fit it in there? Or are we just going to have infinite time to hook up with Hendricks instead, our tight end, making a man miss? You know what's on my mind still? It's not anything that has to do with this game. It's all about USC. They are going to occupy my mind for quite a while. That final touchdown was just so dumb. Literally all we had to do was come out and prevent defense. But for whatever reason, I just didn't think that through at the time. I didn't think they could do that to us. It's a mistake we can learn from, but also a mistake that could cost us maybe even a first-round bye in the playoffs if we went out. Here on 3rd and 8, we weren't able to do anything with those last 2 runs, but Jarius Lemon is going to step up and run himself. I also think we're just going to see man-to-man coverage here with the blitz, and we'll be able to hit one of our receivers, except it's turned into a pick. I mean, Jarius Lemon just didn't deserve an interception off of that. It's his 3rd of the season. Now on 2nd and 11, it's a halfback screen, which we aren't going to make the tackle on. We aren't going to make the tackle again. What is happening? This has been the oddest game of all time. I just could not even tell you how some of the things that are happening are. Throw it at us. Throw it at us. It's like San Diego State wants to lose, but we aren't being allowed to throttle them. They get everything going their way. There is still a minute and a half left in this first half. Throw us the pick. Oh, he's wide open. Wide open. I have a feeling that Terrence Jamison took all the smack talk I was making about him to heart. That looked like it was going to be a screen, but it's a run for him instead. I guess this is what happens whenever we don't take the start of a game as seriously as we should have. They are setting up to end this first half with the touchdown, and we're stuck. We're stuck. We have ourselves a ball game headed into the 3rd quarter. We have a competitive game with San Diego State. I don't even know what to say. 2nd and 7. We throw the RPO. We convert. I'm sitting here sweating, though, trying to figure out what is the best way to move it down the field without making any mistakes. I have to dial in some of the most basic reads possible. We're probably going to have a lot of RPOs as well. Can we get a bigger gain here? He might get back to it. I feel like every connection in this game has just been a little bit off. I don't know what is going on. with our receiving game. But Rico Camarda is finally going to have himself a big one. Just like that, we are back up by 11, and we have put the pressure on the Aztecs, who take their check down, and we got 3 guys over there. Not before they get 8 yards, though. I actually think our man-to-man coverage was cooking more than anything else. Not when it was a blitz, though. It was more so when we were sitting in, like, a cover 1. We have a couple guys dropping back into zones to help with the coverage, and I think that's what we're going to experiment with the rest of this game. Does Ronnie Malik have what it takes now? For him to turn that into a touchdown, it would have had to have been a very impressive return. 7 more. I mean, I think this has to be the biggest game of Rico Camarda's career so far. He's got 185 yards. We're about to see how aggressive the Aztecs are willing to get on 3rd and 1, though, to stop him, and it's just not enough. You know, if we are able to get this throw off, if they don't get pressure in extremely fast, this should be a disaster for them. Was that off of his back foot? Why was Jarius Lemon throwing that off of his back foot, and then how did it get there so accurately still? I am enjoying having a quarterback that has high throw power. That was a big issue for most of the series. This has still been such an odd game. I really thought that we were going to wrap this one up very early on. Instead, we're going to reach almost the 4th quarter, and it was going to potentially be a 2-score game still. I see the touchdown coming, though. I see the vision. You just got to believe in it. Jarius Lemon, I guess, is scrambling here, running around. We're going to have to throw this one away. It is probably 4-down territory for us with our offensive line, and that's how you get in. Ultimately, San Diego State has been faced with the issue of our man-to-man coverage. And over the course of the entire game, we are eventually going to be able to pull away against a team that we are so much better than. For me to be hearing thunder as loud as I am right now, though, deeply buried in my basement in this soundproof room that was built so there would be no sound down here, that's got me worried about whatever storm is going on here in Louisville. I don't think anything will ever top the fear of living in Florida, being worried about hurricanes after experiencing one. But then again, I feel like tornadoes can be really scary. It was just the week after the hurricane, having no air conditioning for a week, having no power, not being able to leave anywhere to go anywhere because parts of the roads were flooded, and then the ones that weren't, you weren't able to drive on because you didn't have gas in your tank, since everybody just goes to the gas station and fills up their tank at 4 a.m. There are so many things I don't miss about all that, but I don't think we really were dealing with tornadoes in Florida. I don't know, just not a big storm guy. I don't think many people are besides the ones that love to hear the rain. As you can see, we are just ending this one, though. We are looking for another touchdown for Rico Camarda. That is about it, though. Taking a look at this stat line, just don't look at what Jarius Lemon did. Just appreciate the greatness of Rico Camarda. We are now left with one other Pac-12 game before we have to take on Boise State. This one against Colorado State. Again, I don't expect to be too much of a struggle. You never know what could happen, though. Also, I must point out that Joey Spadola, he is up there in the Heisman race because of how good he is. Boise State also has a quarterback in Frank Francis and a receiver in the Heisman race. I just find all that very interesting. For Colorado State's team, Bryce Van Ginkel is an 82 speed receiver. That is their best receiver we have to worry about. We are going to be running a lot of press man-to-man coverage. Jimmy Pettigrew is a 78 overall quarterback with 2 91 speed running backs to hand it off to. There is a little bit of pressure on what all them can do, but if we are forcing them to throw the ball, I don't think they're going to have much success. That is at least the thought process headed in. If they do end up throwing the ball really well against us, we will just adapt. So far, our team is just shown to be leaps ahead of a lot of the Pac-12 competition, though, and Ronnie Malik is going to get taken down. I feel like offensively, Rico Camarda showed last week that he's most of our offense. It's so odd to me, though, because he is not the guy that I was expecting to be carrying us as hard as he has. I actually just assumed this season was going to be really rough on the ground, but it's been the opposite. With him going out of the game, though, I could tell you right now, as the season goes on, he will be out more. It is why we still need to also be having success through the air. Is Colorado State going to bring 5 at us? You can't bring the pressure and not guard him. I think the Rams are putting themselves in a really horrible position here, especially if this is zone coverage. We are just looking to have a touchdown on this play. And Ronnie Malik is going to have that step every day of the week. Jarius Lemon puts it in the right spot. And are they dumb enough to throw a bubble? No. They are going to pull the play action. They're going to take their check down, and that is how this game opens up. You know exactly what we want to do, though. We want to bring the heat against Colorado State. And play action is just going to force them to go deep against us. Very interesting. Not fast receivers, but they are still beating us deep. I think this goes back to blitzes not being good. Cover 1 is where it is at instead on 2nd and 9. Another good stop of the run. We are ready to get them off of the field here. but we had to knock it out. Colorado State is still going to get a field goal, but it could have been worse. I also just have to give credit to their stadium. The backdrop around it is beautiful. Now it's Colorado, so I'm expecting most of the state to be beautiful. I just hadn't really paid attention to the backdrop of their stadium before. They are pressing. They are pressing. How on earth could you come out and press Ronnie Malik after he already beat you deep one time? Is he going to get the touchdown? He is going to get the touchdown. Look at that speed just shining through. We're going to sneak this in, and we're going to act like we had the touchdown the entire time. Okay, back to running press man to man. They aren't able to throw their RPOs when we do this. I think that is my favorite part about this, because RPOs were shredding us multiple times throughout this dynasty. Then, just when they think they're starting to figure things out, we are going to switch over to cover 3 on 3rd and 4. They don't know what defense we're going to be in. It's unpredictable, and it's covered. It's covered. I have to say, those fans over on the right side of the field are getting absolutely blinded by the sun. Ronnie Malik is going to come a little bit closer to their side to get to the 47. There is just no world where this is the defense that Colorado State is going to show us after that last drive, too. I mean, if we can split these safeties, Doug McClain should be gone. One thing I've noticed, though, is a lot of our deep passes with Jarius Lemon just don't make that a reality. I don't know what it is, but he is not very good at leading his receivers. We're going to wait for that and throw a pick. Add that one to the total this season. He has already thrown 4. When are we going to see a low pick season? I want to say that 3 of the 4 were very, very avoidable for him. And what are we going to go with here? Colorado State? They completed that? At this point, you all are just going to think I'm keeping these games competitive to have them competitive, but I don't want them to be. The sooner it ends, the better for us. And we should get that too. I mean, do you know how embarrassing it would be if I were to lose to one of these teams we're spending so much more money than? Do you know how detrimental it would be to everything we're building up with Hawaii to lose one of these? Because it would affect our playoff chances. That's for sure. There is nothing fun about any of these teams sticking around with us, keeping it close, us missing tackle after tackle. This all just comes back to that interception too. If we don't throw that interception, I don't think any of this happens. Look at that. It is Caden Bigham's getting the sack, and they're just going to quickly hit their running back or tight end for 15. 3rd and 3, Greg Dicker looking for the first interception of his career. The freshman is going to have to come up and make a hit. Now on 4th and 4, we got to cover this route. I'm not sure why they had our linebackers flipped on where they were supposed to be covering, but it messed everything up. They were taken out of position before the play could even start. They're not going to be running 4 verticals. It's going to be a counter. We can hold the Rams to just 3 and be okay. Do not give up anything stupid here. That route's cutting across. He's not there. He is not there. One thing all of these small schools seem to have, though, is a really good kicker. The computer struggles to build a roster, but they sure don't struggle to recruit good special teams players. And Ronnie Malik is going to be brought down. This is looking like a defense where they are going to sit back and cover 2. And if we hit this first level right, you really could just explode for 7. I really don't think we've done anything too impressive in this game. We've just looked at what they've given us and then found a way around it. I mean, that should have been pick number 2. So much for Jarius Lemon placing the football where we want him to. If his accuracy is not getting any better throughout his career, this could be a major issue for us, but Rico Camarda's just taking matters into his own hands with the touchdown. I just don't like the way this team is playing before Boise State next week. We're going to get them to a 3rd and 15. They're obviously not going to convert. We need our defense to be performing like this because we're about to take on a receiver that's in the Heisman race, a quarterback that is in the Heisman race. With a minute left in this first half still, we take the sack. That is not just going to end our hopes of scoring before the end of this half, though. We aren't going to be able to hit our short route. However, Jarius Lemon is shockingly slinging that one deep accurately, and we're going to try and find the seam on this play. We probably could have forced it in there, but it's okay. I don't know what it is, but I just see ghost against a lot of coverage in this game. We're going to place that one right on the money. We're also going to send a blitz on 3rd and 2 to start the second half. I'm going to be real. It's that type of stuff that just makes it almost impossible for the Rams to come back. With the way that they are coming out pressing against us too, I mean, they're just not making their lives any easier. I think their defense might be set up to be the worst one we have faced all year. We just haven't taken full advantage of it because I'm dumb. Now, Jarius Lemon did get injured. It means quarterback Tyler Carrizosa is going to have to take over for a little bit. We recruited him thinking he could be our future at one point. We aren't going to have him throw the football, though. If they force us to a 4th and inches, well, we're just going to hand it off a second time. Then Jarius Lemon is going to hobble his injured self back out there. I almost preferred if he took a little bit longer of a break. I think it is all going to work out for us, though, as the RPO gets him a passing touchdown. We would end up winning this one 42-9. It was another game where Jarius Lemon didn't have to throw the football that much, but he had almost 300 passing yards. Rico Camarda rushed for almost 200 yards himself. We just got ourselves all ready to deal with Boise State, and just like the past 2 seasons, we have played so many more of our conference games than any other team in the Pac-12. This is a roster we're going up against that we should rightfully be incredibly scared. They got a receiver with 97 acceleration. We're going to be sitting in zone coverage. Craig Sherrills is now a senior running back. They're going to have Frank Francis as an 87 overall with 87 speed. I mean, Craig Sherrills has stuck with the Broncos his entire career, with him only averaging 3.9 yards per carry this season, though. Maybe that's looking a little bit better for us. It's another home game that could break our home winning streak. I do believe if EA ever let us move into our new stadium, we would be in the top 25 for stadium atmosphere just because we'd have 50,000 people there instead of 15. It would be so much louder, but this is what we are working with. We are going to see McLean run to the 15. It's also Jarius Lemon that had the quarterback masterclass last week. I don't know if I would call it that after the interception he threw in the red zone, but you know what? As long as our guys are playing good, we are set to have a really nice day. Early on, Boise State is going to have to figure out some way to stop him, and they did here. However, we're not going to let that make us go away from the run. We're just going to run it a second time, see if we can hit this massive lane, and we do. What I want to see is the Broncos committing a lot of numbers to stop in the run, and once they start to do that, which it looks like they might on this play, that's when we can really open up the playbook and start to hit some of our receivers. Whenever we decide to pass, though, if we just drop the football like we have done a lot this season, there have been a lot of drops. It does make me just want to return to running the football. Now, on 3rd down, we are going to hit Ronnie Malik on the drag. Then we're going to watch Boise State get a little bit aggressive here, trying to stop a potential run, but we're going to have a huge gain to Merrill instead. Rodney Merrill, if he holds up his block here, could contribute to this touchdown, and our other receivers didn't. It is obvious from this spot on the field, we just want to hand it off. We want the easy score. It is not going to be that simple, though. Doug McLean is going to have to get open as they bring the pressure, and he doesn't. Okay, you know what? We are going to go 5 wide. We are going to make them play good zone coverage. Zip that in there. It's another drop. Well, that is not the ending that you want to your first drive against Boise State and these 2 Heisman hopefuls. What if we are able to get the safety, though? What if we are able to get the safety? Now, you have to keep in mind, we also need to be incredibly careful here. What we don't want to do is give up a 99-yard touchdown. We press the last 2 plays on 3rd down. My user is so bad. My user is so bad. Please catch him. I don't even want to click on. I can't break the habit of last year. If you just put your body in the area, the AI would go elsewhere. The computer wouldn't want to run into the one-on-one tackle, so you could kind of guide them into the direction of other players. And this year, you have to actually be able to make that tackle, and we just didn't do it. We just didn't do it. Knock that football out. I can't believe we're even giving up a field goal here in the first place. This has been a horrendous start to this game, but we could even get a pick if he decided to throw it. That is such a frustrating end to their first drive. Craig Sherrills, what did I tell you about him? He always finds a way to do something against us. That was completely our fault, though. Ronnie Malik, why don't you just give us a little bit of a saving grace here? A nice return would be huge. What a heartbreak. We work our way down the field, then we get held to a 4 and out. Then we give up an 85-yard run. I mean, everything has gone wrong for us so far in this game. Maybe we're about to get lucky on 3rd and 2. We're going to watch our tight end underneath. We're going to drop this football. It's really just not a good showing offensively so far. Boise State's not even this good defensively. I don't know what I'm doing. What we can't let them do is get hot with their quarterback, and we have 3 guys on that football. The fact that nobody was able to intercept that just has me sick. They are going to run this one. Is it going to be a counter, though? No, it's actually a pass. It's actually a pass. 3rd and 6. Well, here we go. 3rd and 6. We're going to knock the ball out. That is a shocking drop from Ahmed. I mean, he has been one of the best receivers in the country so far this year. But now, Ronnie Malik comes back to get the football, and he isn't going to get farther. That still just had so much potential. We keep on looking to potentially have some big gains as well, like David DeMarco. If he beat that press cleanly, huge gain for him. We're going to have to make an aggressive attempt. That was not open, but we just need to settle into our offense. I don't know what we are doing so far in this game. You know what? That'll work. It is just run the football with this team, and as long as that's working, we're fine. We have potentially one of the best receiving cores that we could have with Hawaii, and yet we struggle to throw the football sometimes. I don't know how. Tomorrow, I am heading over to Kentucky to play one of the football players, and I've heard he is very good. The social team wanted to do some stuff. I can't stress how cool of an opportunity that is. I'm very thankful you all put me in that type of position. I mean, I'm going to go to my favorite team's locker room and play against one of the football players. It's awesome, but I have a feeling I'm going to get waxed. I'm really just hoping this can be like a nice warm-up for that. With the way we have been playing recently, though, I'm not so sure. Now, Boise State only has 3. I think defensively, we've really done a good job of showing what we're capable of. We might need to have a huge lurk from Tyler Groupie here, though. It's a bubble. It's a bubble, and it wasn't there. You know, for some of the teams we have faced this year, I'm just not seeing the hype out of this Boise State passing offense at the moment. We've been able to shut it down. It is really hard for me to believe that 2 of those guys are Heisman finalists. We just had the perfect setup for a return, though. It went away faster than I thought. We are going to try and make this the final drive of the first half. I have noticed, though, that Alani Halapio is out there quite a bit so far. So are we going to be stuck with him for most of this game? I'm not saying it's a problem, but also I'd much rather have Rico Camarda, of course. And Ronnie Malik is going to get the drag. Well, with this next run, Alani has another 8. He is still out there on the field. Rico Camarda is nowhere to be seen, but he's breaking tackles. I mean, he's making himself a problem for this defense as well, and I guess that's really all that you can ask out of the freshman. What Boise State is doing, though, is they are calling their timeouts. They want this football back before the end of the first half. Depending on what happens here, though, they might not get it. It's going to be 4th and goal. Okay, now against USC, we were incredibly passive. We took a couple field goals when we could have been more aggressive, and ultimately we lost that game. So what we're going to do here is we are going to be the aggressive team. We catch the touchdown. We were able to get it to halftime, up 14-3, and if that was an RPO, they had a touchdown. I have never seen that route out of a tight end in my life, but it was incredibly scary. Don't go for that deep throw. Mafu fine with the sack, by the way. The 5-star continues to make his impact. Here we go. Big 3rd and 13. Dropping back in the coverage. It's 4 verticals. We know exactly what is coming. And it is Jamison Cummins all over Boise State's star quarterback. We are going to be able to get another return chance with Ronnie Malik. Bring this one to that left side. Hit it in stride. Hit it in stride, buddy. And if we cut back, it seemed like we have the blockers. Most importantly, though, look who is back. It is Rico Camarda. He is going to be taking this first carry for nothing. I'm just happy to see his face out there again, and he'll put us on a 3rd and 6. He has himself 75 yards in this game. On 3rd down, we're going to take our zig and hope that we make it. We have Boise State about where we want them, and that is going to be another touchdown. This game is not just going to end off of that, though. We know Boise State is still going to keep applying some pressure. We need like one more turnover, and that could do it. I was hoping for a bubble there, but Tyler Groupie just got shredded. Those are the types of routes and plays I was expecting out of Frank Francis to Ahmed. Now on 2nd and 8, D'Angelo Bakatari, he came up. He'll put him on a 3rd and 2. What we are looking to do, though, is be a little bit of a menace. We are going to send a blitz, and if we leave the running back open, you got to get over to him. We were kind of betting on the fact that he would just be blocking. This looks like it could have been a screen play. Instead, Craig Sherrills is at the 5. Never mind, it is David Luck. I don't know what has happened to Craig Sherrills, but they're going to keep it. There he is. Our favorite running back is back. Craig Sherrills is going to take this next one. It's a pass. It's a pass, and they might hit us with PI, but they don't, and there's the pick. Deacon Church brings it in, and as we approach the 4th quarter, I mean, we are in the perfect position. Boise State is going to want to stop the run here. So we decided to mix in play action. It was open, but we didn't throw it fast enough, so we might just be getting held to a 3 and out unless Ronnie Malik is going to beat the press over there. I mean, Ronnie Malik is just having himself a season. The senior wants to go out with a bang. Purely for the purposes of us having really good defensive stats throughout the year, what I would love to do is not give up a touchdown. But at the very end of this game, I think that is exactly what is coming. On 2nd and goal, it's a read option, and we got off of the block. How long can this last for, though? How long can we keep them out? It was only a matter of time, but we have proven we run the Pac-12. The only other team I think we still need to be concerned about is Washington State, and it is 100 rushing yards for Rico Camarda. We had about 150 total. So far, on the recruiting side of things, a lot of our commitments so far have just been 3 stars from Hawaii. However, we have to close out some of these 4-star battles at some point, and if we're going to get the 4-star bust from Honolulu, Wade McCartney, we are going to need to offer even more money than we already are. And I'm going to be honest, I just don't think it's worth it for a 4-star bust. So we're going to actually let USC take him. Most of our focus should probably be on the transfer portal anyway. USC is still the #1 team in the country. We are up to number 5 after that win over Boise State. They stay inside the top 25. Washington is now number 14. Washington State is number 20. It just kind of gives you the idea that once we get through rivals Fresno State, Oregon State on the road, who is 4-1, then we have 2 other really tough road games, and then we finish out the season against UCLA at home. Of all the teams that we still have to play, obviously, Fresno State is the one that's not as bad, but Cliff Longa's an 80 overall quarterback, so when their #1 receiver is just 79 speed, I feel a little better. We have just seen some wild performances out of quarterbacks that are only about an 80 overall before. This is one of our last home games of the season, though, where that home winning streak's on the line. Of our 5 original rivals, it's our only one that we have on our schedule this season, too, since all our other ones are back in the Mountain West Conference. We would have some new rivals that have formed with teams like Boise State, but since Team Builder won't update, I can't change it. We can't say that we have a rivalry with a team like USC that we've played very often, or maybe in Oregon. They just don't exist. It's not possible. Even Notre Dame we've started to see a little bit more of. If we face a team like that in the playoffs, then it's really a rivalry, especially if they knock us out. What is special about Fresno State, though? They are the team that has given us some of the wildest rivalry games in the past. They've had running backs go for 300 yards. They've been able to drop 50 points on our head. So even though we should theoretically annihilate them, there is this feeling that until we get up by about 21 points, I'm not going to feel too comfortable. Here on 3rd and 9, I am just shocked that they ran the ball and also that we missed that tackle. You know, I was just playing Superstar mode on Madden because I wanted to see what it was like, give my little thoughts and reviews on it. And I got on Madden for having a lot of funky animations, but I think I had forgotten how many funky animations were in this game as well. For a lot of the things I gave the college team grace for the first couple years, well, now we're on year 3. They shouldn't still be there. You know what also shouldn't be there? The thought of pressing Ronnie Malik with the season he's having. He just ran straight by him. Does that corner have like 80 speed? I know Fresno State is not going to be that good this season. However, there's still the expectation that they are going to come out in this rivalry game. They are going to give us some issues, and they're not. We are actually so comfortably on a 3rd and 18, and I'm going to be honest, if they were to pick this up, it would be an embarrassment because we got all our guys drop back. They're going to get close, but they don't have it. They are just going to have to punt it again, and we are really going to try and end this one as soon as we possibly can, especially knowing Rico Camarda was getting tired during the last game. I don't want this to be a matchup where he needs to get like 20 carries deep. In fact, we are going to go for this throw on the run, and we might just continue to let Jarius Lemon cook in this matchup. They are obviously not going to fall for the play action, though, if we're not running to. It is now 3rd and 6, and we're going to take our check down, but drop it. Well, it's a 53-yard field goal. This is going to put us up 10-0, assuming it has the distance. It's not that big of a deal that they held us to that either, because we get them to a 3rd and 19, and we're back on that ball every day of the week. That was a crazy catch. For Fresno State, what I would ask is this coverage what you really want to be sitting in? Because if it's not, then why are you doing it? We're going to underthrow Ronnie Malik, and he still had him beat by a few yards. I'm going to be real. Whoever that corner is just needs to retire because I can see why the Bulldogs are 1-4. All teams have to do is target him. They were going to try and beat Connor Sims deep again. This is an ego-stroking game for our team. There is no world where Fresno State beats us. In fact, if they are really going to come out in man-to-man coverage, oh, there's a safety back there. I did not see the safety back there. That's a dumb pick. That is a really, really dumb pick. That was so avoidable. I thought we had him beat. Anyway, it's not really going to matter. As this half has gone on, we have stayed in front, up 17-0, and we are going to make this one of the final plays. We're going to take a check down, actually. We're going to take a check down and see if we can get a touchdown. I think we got to go with our slant here. If he's not open, Jarius Lemon, you got to scramble faster. I mean, we have kind of just played in Fresno State's face this entire game. In the third quarter, we are going to find McLean for a huge gain. You all saw how our last drive ended, though. We just also got the ball to start the third quarter, and it seems promising. If we throw a pick six here, it's about the only chance that Fresno State would still have of getting back into it. That obviously didn't happen, though, and when they decided to kick a field goal here, I kind of figured that would be it. They might get onto the board. They weren't really serious about a comeback, though, because there already wasn't that much time left. We might even see a rushing touchdown out of Jarius Lemon with the direct snap. Everybody just getting beaten up, trying to extend this score. Alani is short. I have faith, though, on 4th and goal, we are going to find Doug McLean. We just need him to get open. The rivalry ended up being pretty boring. Jarius Lemon still had that one turnover that was just stupid. It's another one you can add to the total from this season. We didn't even have that many rushing yards. What we have done, though, is once we got back out to scouting, we found a 90-speed gritty possession receiver, which I've never seen 90 speed on a gritty possession archetype before. We continue to find guys that could be so good for us in the future. It's just really exciting to see, and with Washington State picking up a loss to Boise State, us and Oregon State are at the top of the Pac-12. If headed into this year, you told me this could be one of our toughest matchups, I would have been taken a little bit aback, but they have a couple solid receivers. They have Isaac Lucian, who might only have 83 speed, but as a high overall running back, you don't know what they're capable of. We have also already dealt with Damian Talbot last season. He's a senior quarterback with a little bit more experience. We will see if the Beavers are able to bring it with them having the home field advantage, or if it's going to be another blowout. We will see if they make me feel like I really got to sit up and lock in, or if we just kind of coast to our 8th win of the season. Here on 2nd and 12, they are going to find a receiver. However, with our fast reaction times, we're able to knock that ball out. On 3rd and 12, I think we're just going to get on Tyler Group. With his 92 speed, I like him more as a user. He should be able to get over and at least prevent the first. A fast 3-and-out is the best way that could have gone. I just cannot believe that Oregon State is 5-1. It might be the best start to a season the Beavers have had on this dynasty file. Most of the original Pac-12, leaving them behind, has definitely hurt the program a little bit. And we're just waiting on that delayed route to find David DeMarco. You know, he has actually not been as good as I thought he was going to be for us. I always assumed that he was going to outshine Ronnie Malik, but it's actually been the complete opposite. It's also nice knowing we have a couple of younger receivers that will keep on flourishing as those two guys graduate this year. Look at the way we are starting this game, though. I mean, we are just doing whatever we want on offense. Got to cut that back faster. We still need to finish this with a touchdown, and I don't like that. When that ball gets up in the air like that, I mean, we saw that result in an interception already once this season. Their coverage is looking really good here. I mean, Oregon State just locked down. They held us to 3. We're going to have to be better in the red zone, especially as this year goes on. That's going to be a pick, though. That is going to be a pick for Connor Sims. His -10 awareness has not costed us as he gets his 2nd pick 6. You know, he was supposed to be the hero in our game against USC. Everything he did got overshadowed, so I'm happy that he just had his moment right there. We are going to hope that Dwayne Fogg could get us a pick. I just don't know where you even throw if you're Talbot. I mean, nothing has looked open versus us, and there's a flag on the play. It is going to be a late hit against us, though. I swear, these happen so often. With about 100% certainty, it is always at the worst possible time, too. Here on 2nd and 9, they are going to have the bubble, but they can't throw it. They just had to hand it off instead, and I don't think any of these receivers are getting open. I mean, you have all the time in the world, but that's not going to be a first. Since we sit back here and punt return for every play, though, I would really like to see the computer decide that they're just going to come out and they're going to go for some fakes. There needs to at least be like a dice roll of like a 3% chance it happens, especially in a shorter yardage situation, just depending on the look that you give them. I think there needs to be ways to keep special teams entertaining. It's a third part of football. I don't know. If we didn't have Ronnie Malik going off the way that he has with his returns, you would just be missing that entire aspect of that side of the ball in this series. Jarius Lemon is going to continue to get faster throughout his career too. I think that's what I'm most excited about. If he can no longer improve his accuracy, well, he's going to have to spend time in the lab improving something, and I thought we were about to throw that football. Maybe that was the best result there, though. We're waiting to see if we can beat the press, go up for the aggressive catch. Ronnie Malik gets put in a little bit of a box there, but it's not the end of the world. We're going to be on a 3rd and 12. All right, let's see. What type of look are we getting out of Oregon State? That's got to be some sort of PI to hold him up. This game could be 21-0, but instead, it's 13. What are they going to show us on offense, though, that's going to make me worried? Because right now, I feel comfortable at 13-0. Maybe if they start running it like that, we're going to have a problem, but we're just going to bring a blitz as a response. That is how you set the tone of what they are going to be dealing with in this game. 4 verticals isn't going to be open. I mean, it's 3rd and 28. You might as well just decide a little screenplay is going to be all you can do. There was no other world where anything else went well for them, and we're at the 42. I think they're going to come out and cover 3, but if it is cover 1, we're taking a shot down the field. Unfortunately, it's just to David DeMarco. Doug McClain was on a streak up the seam, though. The idea was I was ready to feed him, and I think this is going to be a tough throw for us to make. You know, we have to give our props to this Beaver defense. Even though their offense has looked pretty abysmal throughout this one, they've done a good job defensively. That's a flag. It's also going to be against us. We're going to get hit with holding. The flags at the last second, they've costed us. No matter how badly these refs might want to keep Oregon State in this one, though, eventually, I mean, we're just throwing a pick here. I hit the wrong button. There it is. There's the pick of the day. That was supposed to be a 50-50 ball to our tight end. Instead, it just results in the easiest catch the Oregon State team has had this entire game. In fact, that's a better catch than anything their offense has done so far. I have to really preface that because for like the 4th time this season, we have just welcomed a team back into a game that didn't deserve to be in it in the first place. There it is. There it is. You saw it developing. I mean, they are moving the ball more efficiently than they have at any other point in this game. Let's see how they do once they're in the red zone, though. Let's see how they do in this position with the freshman. I mean, it's the easiest run ever. Do we think that they hand it off again, though? That is the real question, and I want the momentum to shoot through this hole. Really? So much just happened on that drive, whether it was the broken tackles or anything else. We are headed into halftime, somehow only up 13-7, and it's because we haven't been able to execute at the highest level. We're going to see if we can get out a fast throw to our tight end. Another timeout. I literally just want us to get in field goal range here. You know what? Let's send this up. Let's send this up. Let's see if Ronnie Malik can go up for it and catch it. He didn't, though, so we need a really fast throw, and you just got to laser it in there. I really don't want to talk about this ending to the first half. We messed up everything. Everything that could have gone wrong. It is on us. We'll see what we can do with Ronnie Malik. There's just too many guys around him. This is the fatigue of playing too many games in a row, though. You get worse and worse. You get progressively worse the longer throughout the day that you play. That's my theory. Maybe Oregon State's just that good, but there have been so many mental lapses I don't think we would have had early on in the year. Another thing to factor in, too, is we have yet to have a bye week. We have played every single week of the season so far with how our schedule is set up. We've been really unlucky with how the conference scheduling has gone. I have no way to fix it. What it does mean for us at the end of the season, though, is we will get a lot more rest than some of the other teams that are also considered contenders. Now, all of that for a yard wasn't worth it. It does show the potential that Jarius Lemon could have in the future, though, and it's going to be 3rd down. Once again, Oregon State has us exactly where they want us to be. But if you send that corner off of the edge, we're going to have Ronnie Malik. I just don't know what type of offense we're going to see out of the Beavers with them getting this ball back in the second half. They were genuinely dangerous to end the first. I mean, they scared me a little bit. We are going to be chasing some points here as well. I figured we'd catch it. The senior just is not able to hang on. Even with his like 90, 95 catching, they take the bubble. Tyler Group all over him. Let's have our defense come out strong here and put this one away. Here on 2nd down, we have all of that locked. You still have to be able to get them off of the field, though. 3rd and 5. They're going to try and bring us down with the play action. I don't know where he is running to. I mean, you can say I look really dumb back there in the pocket sometimes because I know I've done that exact thing at least 50 times on this game already this year. However, the computer's doing the same thing on Heisman difficulty, so am I really that bad? Thank goodness it seems like we're going to be okay against Oregon State. Just a rough first half. I think it's Washington State next. They're a challenge. It'll be our final conference game of the year, 3rd and 8. We're in a tough position. We really need David DeMarco to be able to get us the first, and he can. All right, how strong do we think this Oregon State defensive line is? Because our offensive line is going to win that battle every single time. That is the exact momentum that we need headed in to the 4th quarter. It is another drop for Ronnie Malik. We're actually going to keep this with Jarius Lemon. He was very close to doing something special there, and I'm excited for Doug McClain in the future because that was a clean route. The Beavers need to start doing something fast. On a 4th and 1, they decided to run it, and they just picked it up. We would then get them to a 4th and 13, though. And are they going to have luck on 4th down 2 times in a row? I don't think so. I think we've taken all of that away. You know what the real game changer was for this team? Was actually developing a solid defensive line or bringing them in through the transfer portal. For a very long time, we just weren't generating pressure. Now we're signing even more guys at edge from Hawaii, 4-star Malu Sweet. We also did just come up on our first bye week. I think that Jabari Hawley is going to sign with us very shortly too. Clemson has just entered the battle for Romeo Irving. You know, with him having 97 speed, I am willing to overpay a little bit here. And I don't even think 135 is an overpay. Our hard sell just isn't good enough with the proximity to home. With us figuring out Ofisa Swoop, the quarterback's hard sell as well, we are going to have to start paying a lot more for him because I've noticed Miami is gaining a lot on us. And this could seem like a lot for a backup quarterback, but we want this guy to sit and become our future later on down the line. So we're going to spend on the 87 Speedster. I really have to sit here and gauge what type of difference it makes, though. And I think we're going to schedule him for a visit in week 11, where we have the bye. Since Miami has him on a week 13 visit, we need him to commit before that. It also seems like our game against Washington State is no longer going to be a ranked matchup because they're sitting at 5-3. It's a little bit of a letdown right now. We have fallen to number 7 in the polls, but it's because a lot of these other teams just aren't losing games. There is still a lot of season left for most of them, though, whereas with us, we only have a few games remaining. We have played a large majority of our matchups, and with an offense that averages 34 points per game and a defense that only gives up 8. We really should finish out the rest of the season strong, but Jabari Moore, and I have not forgotten this kid's name, he gave us one of the hardest games we have ever had to play in whenever he was a sophomore. I'm pretty sure he took us down when he was a sophomore. He is just not somebody that you want to take lightly. So as we head into this one, I'm hoping we lock him down. You all should also remember, though, this is the same quarterback that D'Angelo Baccatori broke out against with his 3 pick sixes. That means there are 2 ways that this game could go. With McClain getting the kickoff return, we're not going to go anywhere. We have the ball first. We just need to set the tempo by scoring. There's a little stadium pulse kicking in, but again, we're trying to set this tone the right way. We do with the stiff arm and a broken tackle. How on earth did Karmada end up out of that? I just don't even believe what I'm seeing right now. First of all, this right here was just nasty. To switch hands where the ball is in, throw him off of you, and then stay on your feet. I mean, it's a really, really weak tackle attempt from number 8. How is that for setting the tone, though? You think we did it pretty well? That was just remarkable. 2nd and 11. We want that user lurk. We want the interception. They're going to complete that contested catch, though, so Washington State showing a little bit of life against us. Here on 2nd and 10. Running back isn't really open there, and we have all of that boxed up. We just aren't able to hang on to the football. We're going to take over Joey Cheeks. We're going to watch this receiver, and I don't think anything is there. I feel like everything is completely boxed. It's even a fumble, and we're going to pick it up with Cummins. He has had an incredible season for us off of the edge. He was such a good pickup through the transfer portal, and Rico Camarda is going to continue to put in work. On just a few carries, he might legitimately be sitting on over 100 yards. He's just making our lives so much easier. It looks like Alani Halapio has come out for this next one, though. So, might not be his touchdown, though we're running into him. That is just not the look that you want. I guess we're going to throw on 3rd and goal. We have really come out performing well against Washington State. And if they decide to go for a deep route, I mean, we're going to get back to that, right? We're going to get back to that. It is tipped into Phillips' hands, and he has done nothing all season. But there is his first interception and his first pick 6. You know, this one already feels like it is just out of reach for Washington State. However, we are still in just the first quarter, and there is the lurk. There is another interception. It is actually even more unbelievable that Jabari Moore was able to beat us as a sophomore, and ever since then, he has just been a turnover machine. You know how lucky some Big Ten or SEC team is that they didn't just pick him up early on after that performance against us and pay him a massive bag? They must have been able to tell from the rest of his tape that he just wasn't gonna cut it out anywhere. So far, we really haven't had to do anything on offense. That just can't be how it goes, though, when we try to do something. We're gonna look over the middle. We're gonna complete it. This one is going to be over basically by the end of the first quarter, though we'll take it into the second. For us to get upset with our talent gap over some of the teams in our conference, we have to have a really slow start. That is not what has happened in this game, though. We are about to be on a very long 3rd and goal due to that sack. We are really hoping for man-to-man coverage here, and that's what Washington State's going to give us, but they're playing underneath. Good defense. Sure enough, just when about every game has felt like it's over this season, this type of stuff happens. I don't know why we can't avoid these moments. I don't know why we can't just take our win and be happy, but we're going to get another interception. It is just unbelievable at this point how many we have seen already. Is it going to get worse for Washington State, though? Only if we finish this off. I have a really high expectation for this team, and we can definitely split those zones for the easy score. We'd finished this one winning 42-3. Rico Camarda went for another 200-yard game. We'd also pick up the 4-star commits at the top of our board still, which is really nice to see. More importantly, though, we got a verbal commitment out of Ofisa Swoop, which is massive because he's going to Miami in week 13. We have also moved up to number 4 in the country due to Ole Miss and Missouri losing, so I really feel like everything is going as well as it could, except Washington now pops up. They're back in the top 25. We're going to have to deal with them, UCLA, and then most likely Boise State again because they just beat Oregon State 52-0. When it comes to the two most important players in this matchup, well, you have Rico Camarda for us, and Ben Fields, Washington's quarterback, who has only thrown 2 interceptions all season. He is a 91 overall with 88 speed. They also have multiple really good linebackers that are going to be able to come down and stop the run. They have a 94 speed receiver in Adrian Himmelman. Even Tevin Stacy, who's just an 81 overall running back, still has 91 speed. When I look at Washington's roster, it reminds me of other really big schools and how good some of their players are. Plus, we have to head on the road. I was really hoping that we might see some snow here. I don't think we have seen snow throughout this entire series, but we're missing it. This is just another place that I do really want to get up to, not just to see a football game, but also see Seattle. My extent of knowledge on Washington is it just rains a lot there. This was the place that I had one of my first Road to Glory series ever. So I got to experience that a lot on NCAA Football 14. Those are good memories right there. The memories of when everything first started to go well with content. I mean, it's come so far. I'm just thinking back to where things were at back then, though. I mean, I was sitting there ripping out as much as I could in my college dorm. TikTok was just blowing up the short form content. I didn't even like TikTok at the time. I refused to download it for so long because I heard it was addicting. Sure enough, I would end up getting addicted to it along the way, but at least I have a career to show for it too. So I think the addiction ended up being worth it. They are not going to pick this up. No way. No way. They're doing exactly what I'd expect them to, though. They are going to go for it on 4th and inches, and I thought we had everything locked up. This is going to be one of those games that is just really tough. It's at the end of the season. Washington still thinks they can probably get a playoff spot if things go their way. I mean, a win over the number 4 team would boost them up a decent bit in the polls. And we're just stuck on our defensive line. Some of the other guys get in, though, so it is 3rd and 12. We're watching for the corner route out of the tight end, and that's not there. But why are we playing so far back? That is the second time that has happened. Now we run commit up the middle, and we hold him up. Tavon Stacy is not going to just run straight through us, and that is what we needed. Now the question becomes, are we going to be able to run the football against Washington? First carry. It's going to be a few. What we like to do with our second run, though, is this speed option to the outside. It is always suggested the same way in coach suggestions, and look at that speed. I can't tell you how excited I am to continue seeing Rico Camarda progress throughout his career. Why did he not turn around and catch that ball? This is such a rare play out of Jarius Lemon to just roll out and chuck it, but we had the speed, and he just doesn't animate. I swear, sometimes this game just sends you in for a spiral because there was no reason we shouldn't have just had a huge game. You know, it is now 3rd and 4. We should easily be getting open, but we can't hang on. Just like Washington, though, we don't care. We're going for it on 4th down. We're on their side of midfield, and we got to fall down. That was a little bit of a heater, but it worked out the exact way that we wanted it to. It is now a new set of downs again, and with him manned up on McLean, he'll be open. Washington is not going to make it easy to run in from this position, though. They know we don't want to have to resort to throwing the football, but that we will do it, and you just got to come back and actually catch it. Doug McLean cannot catch a ball. That is what we are learning throughout the season. He is quite possibly the most useless receiver ever, Are we going to be able to get Ronnie Malik on a slant? Good. We have. And if it's man-to-man coverage, we're actually going to have McClain. That is a great way for us to start this second quarter. You cannot pitch that. All we had to do there was make Ben Fields at least second-guess it. And unfortunately, he is so good on his feet. He is able to sense the pressure, get out of the pocket, and still find an open receiver. We have to be able to have an answer for that. Maybe we start going with some QB contains. It's a speed option. And why did he hesitate there? I don't know. You know, I might regret this. I might regret the man-to-man coverage, but we can stop the run. Interesting. They are also not going to go for it. I figured they might. They've already gone for it in a very similar position. I guess they're going to trust their defense, but we are going to be fine with that. If they aren't playing the RPO here, it is going to be a really big gain potentially. 99 speed. Put in that work. At least get the first. You know, it does hurt him that he doesn't have the most acceleration in the world. That right there was almost a disaster too. Easy handoff though. Easy decision to make. We will take it 5 wide. We will look for the open receiver, and it's going to be man-to-man coverage. So we're in trouble. Well, Washington is going to get the stop against us. We're going to punt just like they punted to us in a similar spot. I really enjoyed these defensive games that we have been a part of against better teams. It is a chess match, and right now they look like they are about to run it. So we are going to try and get in there. Can't make the original tackle. It has taken a lot for Washington to get down the field, though, and Connor Sims can't get to that ball. You know, against a team like this, D'Angelo Beccatari might actually be the best player for us to be using. I want somebody that is going to have to glide all around the field and take away most of those options. If we don't, this is what can happen. This is what can happen. Touchdown. We were too far away on that play, actually, to even help in stopping the rushing attack. That was a great touchdown run. It was a good play call. The blocking was nice. I mean, Washington deserved it, and they are boxing that zig up. I'm going to be honest, we might need to get Doug McClain out of the slot because he is not helping us at all. I'd rather have somebody like Ronnie Malik there who can do a little bit more. He's just not being used to his full potential with him sitting on the outside. We are going to have Rodney Merrill here. Rodney Merrill is going to be wide open, right? Or actually, I had to try and go deep. Is that a catch? Obviously, they are going to challenge this and review it. There's a ref right there. This is what I love about EA. They will show you everything with this angle besides the feet and if he's out of bounds or not. Madden actually gets it right. For 3 years now, nobody has fixed this issue in instant replay where you can't see if it's a catch or not. You have to go into instant replay yourself and just watch for it. You would just think, especially since they're capable of having it function properly on the Madden side, they could do it on the college side. I was shocked when I was playing Madden 27 Superstar Mode and it actually showed me that. All right, anyway, 2nd and 6. That's enough crapping on EA for now. We're going to call a timeout. We might be able to hook up with Hendricks, and he's open. Our tight end is open. That's a touchdown. Back in front and getting the ball to start the 3rd quarter is exactly what we would be hoping for. If you told me before the game started this is the spot we'd be in, I'd be more than happy. So now what can we do from this moment? Can we get a big run? Can we have a consistent drive down the field where Washington really struggles to stop our offense? I mean, somebody is going to be open. It just might not be for the amount that we're hoping for, and the halfback screen is going to get out in time. Now we're going to hit him with a direct halfback snap. See if this can turn into anything. It didn't, but we might be able to find Rodney Merrill deep against this coverage. That was kind of the idea as we roll out, and it's just off target. It was drawn up well. The execution just wasn't there. Now that it is 3rd and long, I mean, we are just sending a prayer that Doug McClain was able to get open down the sideline. I am not exactly sure why nobody was over on that part of the field. They must have had some sort of match coverage, and the guy was supposed to be on him just couldn't get there in time. We continue our drive, though. We continue to find some success. They just have these linebackers that will fly in out of nowhere and make the tackles against the run. Now, we're trying to hit our corner route. It is bumped out. It is really hard to score in these situations, but we aren't going to force anything. If we can turn this into a touchdown, it's nice. I am also just completely content with a field goal because we'd have a 2-possession lead, and they stopped us. Are they going to be able to do it again, though? They're really not packing this box in the way that I thought they might. I guess they didn't feel like they needed to. Rico Camarda might have to bust this one to the outside, and there's just nobody around. You know, it almost brings a tear to my eye to see Hawaii winning a battle up front against Washington, but we have invested in our offensive line. I thought that was going to be offside, but we're good. We're good, and are we going to force an interception? He didn't try to find the deep receiver. You know, Ben Fields is playing a little bit scared here. This is a defense that has given up 8 points per game on average. We have Washington on a 3rd and inches, and I'm thinking that they run this one. What was that? How did he just directly take it? Is the computer running glitch plays against us? I have never seen them be able to run that fast immediately. It's okay, though. Here on 2nd and 5, go for a bubble. See if that bubble is open. I think it's just going to be a run. It's a keeper, and we hit Ben Fields. We need to be causing a lot of damage to him. This is a lot of grass for us to cover. The fact that they are punting, though, is such a big deal, even if this goes out at the 5. They did that before the start of the 4th quarter, so we just got ourselves an extra possession. It might be a 3 and out. Even if it is, as much time as we can get off the clock, I will be happy. We're going to try and take this to the outside. They kind of sniffed that out, though. Stadium Pulse is going to get to us a little bit here, potentially. And we just need a hard pass, turn up the field. Trips X nasty. That might be the formation that we got to do a little bit more out of. I mean, that play looked incredibly dangerous. Look at the blocking. I am coming to learn that a lot of the plays that I've been suggested out of coach suggestions in the Hawaii playbook actually come from this formation. We just crossed 100 yards in this game, and as a result, we are going to throw it to Rico Camarda instead of passing. His juke moves do need to get better. For Washington, though, more and more time has come off of the clock in this 4th quarter, and I think they're about done. The hope is next week against UCLA, we can do the same thing. We can finish out this season 11-1. Even with them eventually using all their timeouts, getting us to a 4th and 5, this gives us a 3-possession lead. It would be over from that moment, and as an added bonus, they didn't score again. We were actually able to avoid an interception with Jarius Lemon in this one, which hasn't been happening recently, but he played pretty well. We are also going to get the hard commit out of Ofisa Swoop, so we have a future backup quarterback that could eventually turn into a starter. It is about time that we figure out, though, for some of these 4 stars, if we want to compete with these bigger schools, if we want to be able to get this Jim as a receiver, 90 speed, gritty possession, Alex Drugsma, we are going to have to offer as much money as we can and see if this gives us any added benefit. I'm going to kind of cap it off around 180. I mean, I want to pay guys a lot of money, but I also want to pay guys to stay on our roster and have money for guys in the transfer portal. USC has made it to 11-0 this season. Notre Dame isn't even ranked, so that wasn't that impressive of a win for us. It is so frustrating that we didn't just beat them ourselves, and this UCLA team comes with Trey DiNapoli. He is an 86 overall. There's a solid roster, but it's definitely a step down from the one at Washington that we just had to face off against. The Bruins have gone just 4-7 this year, and they're coming to our place. Here we go. It is yet another opportunity for us to get a home win. Did I just see that right, though? Are some of our players' helmets white? Why does our kicker have a white helmet while the rest of our team looks like they're wearing a black helmet? What is going on? I could not explain it. It looks a little funky. As long as it's just our kicker, though, things are going to be okay. I like to see Trey DiNapoli through 3 interceptions last week, but half of our defense has white helmets. All right. I guess that's what we're working with in this game. Shout out to EA for that. We're getting run over already. I guess you can add this to the list of bugs inside Team Builder, or maybe it's in every mode that wasn't there on launch. Well, already UCLA is on a 3rd and 4, and we just weren't guarding him. We had an opportunity to get them off the field, and we failed to do so. I feel like there's going to be a bubble on this play, but it's a run. How do we think the Bruins are going to respond to some of our press man-to-man coverage? They have an 87 overall receiver, but he's got just 82 speed. I feel like we should be able to stick with him, and he actually threw that, and we actually gave it up. He's still on his feet. I mean, that is just college football at its finest right there. It's hard for me to get too upset. We are facing off against a good quarterback who can do stuff like that. Here we go, though. 2nd and goal. Connor Sims lurking in the flat, looking for his 3rd pick 6 of the season. He is going to have an opportunity to get one, but they never threw the football. Dwayne Fogg gets the sack instead. We are going to hold the Bruins to 3 if we can just keep them out of the end zone. That might be a big ask for this team. Don't fall apart here. Make a tackle. We're good. You know, I'd make the joke that some of our helmets just didn't make the trip to California to play against the Bruins. We left some at home. They didn't get on the plane, so we have to wear these blank ones, except we're playing at home. So That just can't be the explanation. What is the determining factor between players with white helmets and without them, though? There has to be something that is triggering it. And on offense, it is Ronnie Malik and Rico Carmarda, so maybe it's our best 2 players. You know how NCAA Football 14, you had 2 impact players that would have the stars underneath them on each side of the ball? That's basically what this is, except it's white helmets. Next thing you know, that's going to be sold as a new feature next year and sold to you for another $70. What are we doing with some of these throws, though? We just aren't connecting. Jarius Lemon on 2nd and 10 is going to go back to there. We are not going to throw the ball. I mean, we're not going to run the ball. We are definitely going to be throwing the ball. And Ronnie Malik gets us about 20 with that stiff arm. Then we get nothing. The sad part about that is there was actually so much potential there. And I feel like our tight end's going to be able to come away with this. Then nobody decided to block him. I don't know why we were only running versus a 3-man front. And since we're not going to get open with Doug McClain, who I wanted to feed, it is going to be Ronnie Malik that sees it again. Now, we are staring down Rodney Merrill. I have a feeling that they aren't going to let us get this over to him, but they did. UCLA might just let us score a touchdown right before the end of this first quarter, too. Never mind. Their defensive line is really strong. Our offensive line is going to have to come up with some good blocks, and they just pushed us in. There we go. It's exactly what we were looking for. No bubble on this play. I was actually thinking that there might be. Okay. With us getting them to a 3rd and 10 on their next drive already, I feel like we should be getting them off of the field here. We just got to protect the sticks, not give up anything too big. And they're testing Connor Sims. He didn't catch it. You know, I'm glad it didn't turn into a touchdown for them as well, but how did he not catch that? He was tracking that ball for like 3 or 4 seconds, and it goes straight through his hands. I just have a hard time believing he's the guy where it's going to go straight through his hands. Come on, come on. Don't let the punter bring you down, Ronnie Malik. Go ahead, get yourself another touchdown, young man. Well, I guess old man now because you're a senior. However, you might still be younger than me. If I'm 23, he could be 22. Could be like 23, 24. You never know these days with these 6, 7-year seniors, but he never had a redshirt year. He immediately came in and started for us, immediately made an impact. So he is probably like 21 or 22. Which means he is still a young man to me. I would like to also think I get to be in the category of young man, but I said or a gamble the other day in a video, and I got grilled by one of y'all in the comments talking about I'm 40. No, I'm not 40 saying or a gamble. I'm 23. It doesn't make it that much better, but it may be a little bit. Okay, throw this ball up. Throw this ball up. Don't tell me they're about to convert this 3rd and 8. DiNapoli might just be him. We are facing off against one of those quarterbacks that is going to be such a pain to take down. And there's a first. Imagine UCLA without him. They might actually go 0-11 this year. They might not actually have a single win. We should be able to still keep them out of the end zone. But, I mean, the blocks are looking really nice for them. I feel like in the trenches, UCLA is giving us a lot of problems. And they're at the 10. One thing we haven't done in recent weeks is we haven't really sent any blitzes. Not that it's going to help us much here. We really just need to continue stacking the box and not let them run the football so easily. They kind of made our defense look like Swiss cheese right there. Are we going to be able to feed somebody? No. You know what that's a sign of? Just hand the ball off to Rico Camarda and let him do his job. Now we're on a 3rd and 9. We made absolutely no progress, and we're begging for him to get us the first down too. We might be able to end this first half with the football, which would be a major deal, but we still need to get a couple first downs before we can lock that in. And let's just split the seam if it's there. Let's let Rodney Merrill get a touchdown instead. See, I want to be impressed. I want to see UCLA work it down the field against us in 2 minutes without being able to run the ball at all. So it's just our pass coverage out there. And that ball was loose. Mafu Fine generated the pressure. We're even backing up some of our corners. Not because we need to, but we're just playing it cautionary. It's going to be 3rd down. We aren't even calling a timeout. UCLA can take it down to about a minute left in this half. I just don't want them to get super aggressive with how they try and convert this, and that'll work. There we go. 4th and 4, 68 seconds to drive down the field, make it 28-10 before the second half. And we're not going to get another return. However, we get to start this drive in a really nice spot, and I highly doubt that they were going to expect the run. Let's see how they guard David DeMarco here. Are we going to get single high coverage? I mean, we're just wide open with Doug McClain. This is rough for the UCLA defense, and it's going to get worse. Just give us enough time in the pocket back here, and we are going to have a laser. That is what we needed. From that moment, we would just kind of be in control of this game. You'll see in the 4th quarter, we're up by 22. We're trying to get a 4th down stop that would end it. And you can only do so much. DiNapoli had a very good first half against us, but we have been able to shut him down in the second. Enrico Comarda could be off to the races, but he gets caught. We ended up finishing that drive off with a touchdown, winning 42-13. Jarius Lemon, 3 touchdowns, 13 for 15. Great performance out of him and the entire team. We are also going to get multiple 4-stars to commit off of that win. I can't believe that. And then another thing I can't believe is Boise State is the number 4 team in the country. I guess with their only 2 losses being to us and number 6 Ohio State, it kind of makes sense. It seems like a lot of these teams ended up losing a couple of games throughout the year as it came to an end. Our rivals, Wyoming or San Jose State, still have a slight opportunity where they could get to the playoffs too, just because this would be for a 12 seed. I don't want to say the Mountain West is flourishing without us. I think those teams are only doing well because they're not playing that great of competition. I'm just surprised they're ranked that high at 9-3. Here's some of the 4-stars that we got to commit. We are still trying to overpay for these 2, hoping that we can beat out the bigger schools. We also still need to worry about this Boise State receiver because if he has a big game against us, he could take home the Heisman Trophy. It is only receivers that are in the running. You know, if we look at the rest of the Pac-12, both Oregon State and Washington State were able to go 8-4. We're going to see a 6-6 out of Texas State and Utah State. But there's also a lot of teams that just aren't going to be able to do as well because we all have to play each other. There's just not much room for more than a couple good teams in the Pac-12, and because we've had so many bye weeks near the end of the season, our team is as healthy as it's ever been. Before we start facing off against tougher competition, I just want to point out that we have given up 8.4 points per game this season. New Mexico is the next closest at 14.3. Only 101 points have been scored on us the entire year. Not just that, but we have the most sacks in the country. I think we might also have the most forced interceptions. Never mind, there's a couple teams above us. We have been playing at an elite level, though, and that cannot slow down against Boise State. This one right here is for our 37th home win in a row. We have the best team that Hawaii football has ever had, and we almost started the game right. This season, we've completed 49% of our third down conversions. We've passed the same as we've run. It has just been a nice, even split for this team, and I like that this game's being played in the day. It's a vibrant game. You got lots of colors with us wearing our alternate jerseys, and you got 2 good teams. 2 teams that haven't just jumped ship to an even bigger conference. 2 teams that are trying to make the best out of being on the West Coast and in rougher spots. At least going to Hawaii can be a little bit of a recruiting pitch. How do you sell recruits on living in Boise, Idaho? Listen, I've never been there. I'm sure it could actually be great. I just can't imagine being that far from family is ideal. You can add that to another place I want to watch a college football game at, though. Maybe I just need to take a trip out to the West Coast and see if a few of those teams all play in the same weekend. I don't think that the Pac-12 is going to do any like Thursday night games though, because that's where you could hit a Boise State, then a Washington a couple days later. They might do a Friday night one though. We'll just have to see. Looks like Boise State is going to throw it straight to D'Angelo Bacatari off the start. What are we doing? Are we even trying to have a competitive conference championship? That is an unbelievable way for us to open this one up. We have 2 of the top 4 programs in the country playing in the Pac-12. We have to make it look like our conference is still kind of good. We can't just run away with this one. On 3rd and 9, we are going to have to take our slant. And did we get it? No. Okay, well, Boise State has done a really good job of stopping the run so far. So this might not work out for us, or it will. Either way, I just cannot believe they threw an interception that early. Looks like we're going to have Merrill on their best corner, but their shortest corner is going to be guarding Ronnie Malik. I really wish we could get some jump balls to work. We weren't able to there. On 2nd down, though, hitting that 2nd gear, we're at the 6. What is Boise State going to do defensively if we just throw a couple slants on the field? Are they going to send a blitz? Are they going to let us just dot up between the zones? Frustration is still kicking in with some of our guys and drops. I mean, we have dropped so many passes this year. Thank goodness we can run. How is Boise State going to respond to that last drive? Are they going to have a big run? Are they going to be able to move the football against us? 2nd and 12. D'Angelo Bacatari looking for another interception, and we're going to have him on a 3rd and 5. I love how much more often we are connecting on some of those diving tackles. I think we have to take over right here, but we're just jumping offside. That is just not the time for that to happen. We could have gotten him off of the field, but they have a new set of downs. Now, all of that taken away still. Missed him. You know, it would be kind of cool to see Ahmed win the Heisman Trophy, get somebody from the Pac-12 winning it, but at the same time, I just want to win. I don't want to even give him a chance. Our defensive stats have been way too good this season to just let him get a couple big plays against us. We really got to zone in on stopping him, and I think everything else follows. We're at almost the end of the first quarter already, and I don't know what this play was. Here on 2nd and 5, they are going to have a quick read. They're going to have him. I saw it developing. What we need to do is we need to try and stop the run here, or we're just going to give up a huge carry. That's what happens. You know, Craig Sherrills is due for a big one every single time we play him. If it's just that, it's okay. If we give up another one, though, that's when we have to start wondering what's going on. Now, Boise State is coming out in bunch X nasty on 3rd and 9. This is the formation that I said was really, really good. I don't know what play this is. I haven't used it enough, but clearly we're going to have somebody that's done a little bit of film study because the freshman linebacker gets his hands on it. Fateu Mahai. Is that how you say his name? Probably not. Probably not even remotely close. But I know that the Okina means you're supposed to pause. And Boise State's back. We have to get that out of our system, though, before the college football playoff anyway. So maybe it's a good thing we just did. It's been a couple weeks since Jarius Lemon had an interception. It was bound to happen. I actually feel like we should be able to just decimate this coverage. It's out of reach. Come on. We're actually selling. We are selling this game so hard. That should have been the easiest touchdown of all time. Should have been. It should have been. You might watch a man lose his mind, especially. Okay, that punt still went decently well for us, but I might lose my mind if they break a tackle for a touchdown or something, moss us. We just had a mental lapse for like 10 seconds. And all of a sudden, everything has changed. Jarius Lemon could be the future of Hawaii, but at the same time, he could be our downfall. He could have a ceiling. I don't like that he is already capped out on his accuracy. Maybe the architect tree is something we could explore that could unlock it a little bit more. After this game, we have to look into all of that stuff. On 3rd and 2, it was always going to be a run. Boise State is not in the business of kicking a field goal, though, and tying things up. No, they want a touchdown. They want to take a lead against us. They want to hit us where it hurts. And they're going to do it. Frank Francis has not impressed whenever we've had to take him on. However, he is starting to cook a little bit, especially with the keeper. I am now sweating as we get closer and closer to halftime. I'm sweating profusely. That should not happen in a room that I have set to like 69 degrees. Now, we're not running anywhere. No, they are immediately all over the run. 2nd and 11. Do I do it? Do we do it to him? Do we do it to him with Ronnie Malik? Oh, we do. Oh, we do. You're going to have better coverage than that, buddy. Somehow, we didn't get a touchdown. I was trying to taunt him. It'll be okay, though. We just got to time a QB sneak right. This is the 2nd time it's happened this year. Okay, we got ourselves a ball game now. This might be a little bit of a shootout, but it could also be a fun time. We need to feel that competition before the college football playoff. We need to be able to lock in and actually make some stops. We have so much of an ego. We called a timeout so we could get it back one more time, and we're going to do it in incredible field positioning. Senior Tyrell Toon just lurked him every day of the week. That was always going to be a pick. We can now lean on Rico Camarda to just get us a little bit further. Does Boise State think that we are about to pass the football, though? There's only 22 seconds left in the half. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay, we're going to do it here. 14 seconds left now. We're waiting to roll out and have a wide open Ronnie Malik. That right there is how you end the first half. That right there is how you set the tone for the rest of this game. We defend our home field advantage, and they are going to start it with a Craig Sherrills run. On 2nd and 8, we're just going to inch forward. We were going to pass commit, but this works too. I'm actually really liking how cover 4 palms is working for our defense, and we're going to get him again. Deacon Church is off to the races. He'll get knocked out of bounds. How many interceptions are we going to get in this game, though, before you just have to accept it? You're no good. Before Boise State decides Frank Francis has to be benched and they need to put somebody else out there. I mean, there's got to be a limit. The only reason this isn't a full-on blowout is because Jarius Lemon threw the pick 6. I mean, surely Boise State isn't going to come back from here. We are just going to continue getting them on these 3rd downs. We know who they want to throw this football to, and he's not open. He sure is not open. If we are not able to win a playoff game with this team this year, I'm not sure if we're ever winning a playoff game with Hawaii. I guess that took a good bounce. I mean, it isn't going to get much better than this. We're kind of just taking our sweet time, trying to make sure that this game can end. We have literally been on 3rd down like 6 different times on this drive. Eventually, though, we do just need to hit them where it hurts with the touchdown. Can we truck through? I mean, Boise State isn't even going to stop the run here. Alani Halapio, the Hawaiian, gets a rushing touchdown in the conference championship. I am really excited to see what the future has for him, but Boise State would score at the very end, so that's going to hurt some of our defensive stats a little. Either way, I think we have kind of proven that we are going to dominate the Pac-12. We are definitely going to be looking at conference invites in the future, especially next season. It would be a dual package with us and Boise State. Until then, we probably do have another year left in the Pac-12. There are some hard commits. They were soft committed last week. We are also about to get through all the award winners with the horrendous zoom-ins like this. That's what I'm talking about. I just don't think it looks good. Our defensive coordinator's just invisible. Then we have Ronnie Malik that hopefully has a Jet Award coming up. If he wins the Jet Award every single season of his career, I mean, that is just nuts. Connor Sims gets the Bednarik. He is also going to win the Nagurski. Then the Doak Walker goes to Rico Camardo. We have seen the Doak Walker handed out to so many of our running backs. We also have already had a Jim Thorpe Award winner. I mean, Connor Sims just had a very, very impressive year. When is this Jet Award coming up, though? There it is. I will say, though, when we take a look at these season stats, to see that Jarius Lemon has kind of taken a slight step backwards isn't very ideal. The team has at least gotten better. Rico Camarda, of course, leading us in rushing. Alani Halapio only got 55 carries to his 247. Then on the receiving end, I mean, not many guys had many yards, but it's because we didn't need to throw. We also didn't have as many tackles as we did in some of the earlier seasons because we would force a lot of 3-and-outs. Caden Biggums had 11 sacks. I hated on him, but he was our sack leader. We need him to come back because Jamison Cummins and Bobby Whitaker are both seniors. We also need to take a look at who was leading the team in interceptions outside of Connor Sims, and it was Tyler Groupie and Deacon Church. I think Ronnie Malik, though, just has the wildest stats. 27 yards per catch this year. Look at his returning stats. He had a touchdown every year off of a kick return, and then off of punt returns, he had 4, 2, 1, 3. He had more yards than ever this season, and as we look at this playoff bracket, Florida State, who was not ranked, was able to sneak in, which means Wyoming doesn't make it. I think they were number 12. We are also going to have to somehow find a new offensive and defensive coordinator with just 145 NIL. We couldn't afford to hire back some of the guys that we already had, though the expectation here isn't that high for a couple of these. We are ultimately going to be settling for free coordinators because their coach prestige is a D- grade instead of an F, so our coach prestige won't take as big of a hit. They are also free, but I just don't think coach trees mean as much on this game, which is why it's hilarious they tried to monetize it. Also, our profile picture image has just fully disappeared, so that is now gone. We're kind of stuck having to spend in strategist too. I think we're going to boost complimentary visits first and foremost. Also, visits have a bigger impact on some of these defensive positions just because I want to target that in the offseason. Everything else, though, we're going to ignore for now. I really want to see what our budget is set at the end of this year, but a lot of that is dictated based on how we do in the playoffs. We also have some of these players officially signed. We spent 180 NIL on impact development for Alex Drugsma, so I hope that was worth it. We got normal dev on a 4-star, normal dev on 4-star Greg Tam as well. Star dev on the quarterback at least, but I just don't like to see normal development, especially at this point with Hawaii. This guy was a gem. I thought we could get better. Romeo Irving might have 97 speed, but normal development is just not going to cut it. At least Jabari Hawley has star dev, so it's another great safety for Hawaii. That is the review of our high school class, though, and you can see how many players are considering transferring, how many guys that we're most likely going to have to pay a little bit more money. We are then getting the news that we have to go up against Miami in the quarterfinals. Does this sound familiar to you all? Because it sure sounds familiar to me. Miami knocked us out of the playoffs last year during our first ever appearance. We were 12-1 too, just like we are right now, and they could end our season once again. I just can't imagine us losing to the Hurricanes. It would just be so crushing for it to happen again, but Dante Bender, the quarterback, he is still with them. He is now a 93 overall. They also brought in this transfer from Missouri that has rushed for 1,000 yards every single season in his career. Jeff Ruffin, 97 acceleration. This is the game where we need our defense to show up, and if I'm remembering right last year, we got off to a slow start. That cannot happen again. As a little bit of a warm-up for this game, I got myself one of these. I wish I was sponsored by them. These are gas. I found them at Costco. My trainer recommended them. He has put me on. Typically, I don't like vanilla protein shakes, but that one tastes like melted ice cream. I don't know if any of you will have also stumbled upon them, but for my guys in the gym, just a recommendation. Miami is throwing the ball a lot, just like they did last season, so that doesn't really surprise me. However, last year, they did not have a running back that can shoot out of there that fast. Here on 3rd and 6, I guess we are dealing with white helmets once again, and we can't let him get a first down. He doesn't have it. That is a major tackle right there. We don't have to worry about them running a fake. We are just ready for this return. Can we start this game with the touchdown as well? I mean, that would be massive. Ronnie Malik, come on, come on. You're not going to be able to finish it. This is the most yards he has had off of punt returns in a single season, though, by quite a lot. Okay, first play. There is a little bit of a rushing lane. I wasn't sure if we were going to see that or not. We are taking this game very seriously, though. Once we saw the 3rd and inches, we had to pull out the QB sneak, and we timed it perfectly. Now we're hoping that we see some man-to-man coverage because we have a little bit of a beater for it. Just got to run that route well and hang on to the ball. If you haven't been able to tell, the margins against a team like Miami are a lot smaller, so that's one of the things we have to worry about. Damian will get a save. That is just another senior in our receiving core, though, that we will not have back for next season. Miami has gotten us on another 3rd and inches. This time, we are going to run out of shotgun, too, but it is going to work out. This is just such a different vibe versus the last time that we were facing off against them in the playoff. We got to get in. I feel like we should be able to right here, especially if that is man-to-man coverage. What a way for us to open up this game. Now the Hurricanes are going through the air, and are they going to beat us deep on this play? Jeez. You know, Dante Bender's a little bit scary. That was just so nonchalant, so easy for him. Take the little check down. We just got our ankle shattered. You know, it's seeming a little bit more effortless for Miami than it was seeming for us to get down the field. I'm not liking that. I am not liking any part of that. Here on 2nd and 2, they run it up the middle, and they get in. That was a very different vibe from their first drive. We're going to see if play action can open up the defense for us, though, and it's a horrible throw straight into his hands. How can you miss that? We had a good meter. I mean, his accuracies aren't perfect, but he's selling. This is not good. This is not good. I was feeling so much more confident literally, what, like a minute ago? I mean, there's absolutely no way if we went to man-to-man coverage, that's going to be any better for us. They just have everyone. They are able to run versus us, unlike any other team we've played this year. I know there's levels to this stuff. I know our team could be better, but right now, I'm not feeling good. 2nd and 8, we are going to mix in this RPO. I feel like it does give us some big play potential. I was throwing it. They're not going to let us make that throw, though. Jarius Lemon, you better step up on 3rd and 9. We're seeing zone coverage. We have to fit this in. We have to fit this in. Okay, it's a flag. It is on the Hurricanes. It is a bailout. We can still tie things up at 14. I'm just going to blame the curse on these little white helmets that have came out of nowhere. Why are you not blocking him? Our team is forgetting how to play football. In the biggest moment of Hawaii football history, we're forgetting how to play football. We already found out last year that the lights were too bright. We can't let it happen 2 seasons in a row, especially to the exact same team. I feel like Miami is playing better than any other team we have played this season so far, though. 3rd and 9. I mean, we have 10 rushes for 27 yards. They are most definitely sitting in cover 3. We're not going to be able to put this where we want it to, so we're going to run. We're going to get lucky. I just can't even think of what we're going to do on the defensive side of things, because besides that 3 and out, they've looked so dangerous over on offense. Here we go, 2nd and 13. They brought a little bit of a blitz, and it's going to allow David DeMarco to get open. That works. You know, if there is one thing this team has, it is speed. So if they want to get aggressive like that, we'll take advantage. We are going to have to go away from just a typical 4-3, though. We're probably going to have to go away from the typical cover 3 that we're used to running. I really don't think that cover 2 man is our answer, especially if they wanted to run here. We might be able to stop the pass on this play. Okay, 3rd down. Will we be able to actually generate pass rush against them, though? We're going to knock it out. I really thought that he was going to hang on to it. And wait, Ronnie Malik, come on, do it to him. Do it to him. This is an absolutely horrendous play call. Jet sweep to the weak side of the field. That's what we decided to do, though, and I just want this run to set us up in field goal range at the very least. If they are in man-to-man coverage, we are going to overload this left side of the field, and we should be able to get a really nice gain. That was a major call right there, though. Absolutely huge for the program. Of course, Miami calls a timeout. They don't want us to just run out the rest of the first half. I'm very curious what type of coverage we are going to see on this play, and we had him. You know, it does seem like we are going to get held to a field goal, but with that delayed slant, we came close. Never mind. Ronnie Malik dropped the football. I don't think that's a surprise. We are now going to have to sweat out the end of this first half. It starts with a run. That's okay, though. Maybe they make a mistake once they go to the air, and he's just scrambling. He's scrambling this entire time. You know, we might just decide to alternate between running cover 2 man and then cover 3. We're going to give them a different look every single play. I just hope that they can't also catch on to our patterns. Actually, you know what? Let's go with cover 1. We haven't run that yet in this game, and he is short. That forces them to punt it with 45 seconds left in the first half. Ronnie Malik is going to have an opportunity to explode out of here and get a big return. What do we do from this spot? Do we try and get into field goal range? I think so. That was a weird pass. I don't know who Jarius Lemon was feeling like here, but he did not want that to get swatted down. Well, there's just 22 seconds left in the first half. We're going to try and place it over his head. It did not work, though, and you would think that we would just have Hendricks immediately, but if we threw it, they would have played it. Okay, we are going to have to call our second timeout. It isn't ideal, but we might be able to quickly get this one over to another receiver and be in field goal range. I don't know if we can get off another play. 8, 7, 6. We're going to try. We are going to try, and we're just going to have to fall down immediately. That was something right there. 20-14 is on the table. We just need to hit this kick, and it's going to be wide right. All of that for it to be 17-14 at the half. That might cost us the game. I mean, we did look like the better team near the end of the second quarter, but for that first part, once they got going on offense, I did feel a little bit helpless. We also start with the ball, too. That field goal could have been such a big deal for us. Hang on. Do we have a kick return? No way. They're going to catch Merrill with his 99 speed. The sophomore receiver takes it to the house. Maybe he's our kick returner next year. I don't care. He's 6'4". Rodney Merrill just saved the entire vibe because who cares that we didn't get that field goal now? We are back on the defensive side of things where I like to be, and they are going to run it all over us in cover 2, especially if we're going to sit out there in a 4-2-5. This is going to get nasty. It might be back to the 4-3. We cannot give them that look again. There's the run. There's the run. See? Much better run defense. Okay, now I would argue if we pass commit and really bet on them just throwing the football here, we could get away with it. We could get away with it. It's an interception from Tyler Groupie. The junior linebacker is a big addition to our defense we did not have last season. All of a sudden, it is showing why we are 12-1, why Miami is 10-3. Oh, that had potential. You know, this is a fake bubble, which I actually don't like because I think the bubble is open. We're going to throw it anyway, reach for the first. I don't like these 3rd and inches because you never know when they're going to stop you. We did handle that one well, and I do think that they're going to be in man-to-man coverage here. The question is, are we going to get open? And we don't. It looked like at first we were going to have the step, but over time, I mean, he just made up all of that ground. Fortunately, Rico Camarda puts us at the 10. This is where things get tight, though. This is where things get tough, and this is where we might just have to force it. Force it in there. Good swat. We can see if an inside zone gets us any further, but I have a feeling they're going to stop it. There it is. We're 4 yards out. We need a touchdown, and they are going to give us a man-to-man look. David DeMarco makes the catch, and we're up 17 points on the Hurricanes. We really just needed to see our defense settle in for this game. And now that they have, I mean, we're fine. We should be able to get away with some more press man-to-man coverage. We pass committed. That was smart from them to run. Let's see how it goes from, though, if they actually just decide to hand this one off. Okay, we bit down a little too hard. We bit down a little bit too hard. It still worked out for us. We're sniffing out the bubble. They don't throw it. Okay. Go ahead. Get Tyler Groupie his 2nd interception of the day. This is just a disaster class from the Miami quarterback that gave us so many problems the year before. He is literally giving you a tutorial on what not to do, and Damien's just not open. With an injury timeout as well, we're not even going to take it to the 4th quarter. We can hope that this halfback screen gets us the first down, but it won't. At least we are still ahead by 17, and as we set up for this punt, I don't know what has happened to the field or the stands or anything. It looks so weird, but I think it's a visual bug that will disappear. Maybe not, though. Half the field is getting lit up while the other half of the field is not. And they're going to just thread it up the seam. Normally, whenever the field does this, it's just disappeared after play or two because it looks awful. I guess this is the dynamic lighting we're stuck with in the fourth quarter, though. It doesn't seem to be going away. Short little throw. Going to be 3rd and 12. Even better, 3rd and 14. Miami obviously is going to go for it on 4th down. So whatever they don't get here, that is what they need. And I don't think they have what they want. I don't think they have what they want. Why is Carrizosa out there, though? Why is our backup quarterback on the field? Do not tell me Jarius Lemon has gotten injured against Miami and he could be out for the next round. I'm genuinely scared. I mean, we have not seen Jarius Lemon walk back out there on the field, even for something as big as this 3rd and 4. This better just be something minor. If it's not something minor, I don't see how we win. Rico Camarda has been shut down by a better run defense. He has 82 rushing yards on 21 carries. If we did not perform the way that we did on defense, this game would have gone way differently. I'm just really worried because Tyler Carrizosa is still out there for this 3rd and 8. We also need our senior kicker to redeem himself here after that earlier miss. That is how this one is going to end, though. The confetti can come down. We have achieved our goal for this season. We've won a playoff game with Hawaii, but we're 2 games away from a championship. There is no reason this is where our story ends. We are still waiting to hear more about Jarius Lemon, though. I am incredibly worried. Whenever I go over to his health, it doesn't say that there's an injury. It just says that his wear and tear impact is severe. It makes me think that we're going to be okay, but USC has won. We have to play the Trojans again. They just survived against Michigan 41-39. I think the only team that's beat them this season was Ohio State. We also made our horrendous staff hires a level 11 tactician on both sides of the ball. It already values them at way more than 0, which is weird. I really want to see what happens at the end of the season, what our budget actually comes out to. Obviously, we have to get our revenge against USC first, and I have not forgotten about this man right here, Joey Spadola. He had a career performance against us, and he might do it again. We are not going to have Doug McClain for this game, though, due to a broken wrist. So even though we are going to have our quarterback, Jarius Lemon, with no practice returning, we are missing Doug McClain, and that is one of our fast receivers. That's just another threat that would have been really nice to have against USC, but we know that we can beat them. It's crazy, but if everything goes right here, we could actually find ourselves in the national championship game with Hawaii. I did decide that we're going to wear the throwback helmets with the black jerseys just because I could not stand to see white and black helmets at the same time. That way, even when our kicker has this white helmet on, and it's not the throwback one, it looks extremely similar. We're wearing the throwback helmets. Will it help us? It won't make a difference. USC passes 76% of the time. It's really nice to know information like that, though. We know exactly what we're in for, and they already have 9. This is a loaded team. This is a team that has performed very well throughout the season. What do they have for us on 3rd and inches, though? Is it going to be a run? It's going to be a run, except we didn't make the tackle, and now we're relying on Dwayne Fogg to do it. Thank goodness Ted Rickey isn't that fast, because that could have been a touchdown. Another run. See, right now they are not going with their typical game script, and we're going to get the interception with Joey Cheeks. Joey Cheeks gets us the ball. I can't believe they've already made a mistake. That was so early on in this game. What are we going to do to take advantage of it? I'm not going to lie, that wasn't a great start, but I have a feeling that we're going to have Camarda here. If not, our tight end. If not, I guess we'll throw it away. Their man-to-man coverage was actually looking really scary there. I figured that they were going to go zone on 3rd down, though, and we're going to split them. That was a rough bet because if they were in man-to-man, I don't think anybody was getting open with that play design. Maybe they think that we're going to throw it here, though. They really need to. They really need to for this to work out in our favor. Okay, on 3rd and 2, we have a short read designed into this play. Ronnie Malik is going to get the separation he needs. We just have to continue working it down the field, and we're going nowhere. The fact that Rico Camarda was able to even get 3 yards out of that, I'm impressed by it. Looks like we have a much bigger hole here. There is a world where David DeMarco gets open in the end zone on this one, though. We're going to take the drag. We're going to play it smart. We're going to go underneath. We are just going to continue pushing it down the field against the Trojans. And right here, we can make him miss. What a long drive. What a lot of effort we have had to put in. But I think we're going to finish it off very soon. There's just a world where we do have to make the correct read here. And it's going to have to be to our running back. It's going to have to be to Rico Camarda. Well, well, well. That right there was such a big conversion. How is USC going to respond, though? We're not going to make that tackle. I mean, at least Dwayne Fogg was able to luckily get there. We also need to back off some of these corners. We are stuck on Phillip, and I mean, we just literally got ran into. If that didn't happen, I think that we could have made a break on that ball. We could have at least hit him with a hit stick and made it very hard for him to hang on to it. But it's okay. Our time is coming where we're going to stop the Trojans. We let them work it all the way down the field on us the last time. Then we were able to get our stop. Now, force it there or just take your drag. We needed to have another zone underneath. How is he still on his feet? Whatever they are feeding these USC receivers, we need to get our team on immediately because it is ridiculous. Steve Watford as well. I mean, he just got an extra couple yards there that he shouldn't have been able to get. He hasn't ever been a huge player for us to worry about, but he definitely has the potential for it. So we're keeping an eye on him on 3rd and 4. I have a feeling they're going to the air. I mean, that is their main tendency. I would be shocked if they actually ran it. And go ahead. Make the bad read. Make the bad read. Throw us another interception. I am shocked by a lot of the picks that I am seeing out of some of the best quarterbacks in the country so far in the playoffs. I mean, there's just no way that seemed like it was open. You all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like some of the quarterbacks that we played during Pac-12 play were better than that. We should have just kept it on the ground. I don't know why we tried to throw it on that play, though. I mean, we are going to get a little separation there. It might not matter, though. I think I really messed up this drive. Let's see how USC reacts to the play action. If we can maintain ourselves in the pocket, and then we're going to throw an interception, too. Okay, I kind of figured that was going to happen. We didn't really have the throw power, but we're going to snag it with Tyler Groupie, and Tyler Groupie makes up for that horrible read, headed to the house, 14-0. How do you like that, USC? This has to be the best defense I have ever played in my life. We are locking in, and he is still going to hit somebody. You know, a smart man, though, would just say, let Ted Reiki continue to throw the ball. He's already turned it over 3 times. And he's bound to have a 4th. There is a reason we had the greatest defense in the country, and it wasn't even close. All of our guys are showing exactly why in this matchup. Even where some of them aren't the highest overalls, a lot of them do have like 90 zone coverage, 90-man coverage. It has made a major difference for us, and they decided to punt on 4th and 2. I thought they were going to go for it, but they weren't willing to be aggressive, which is really good for us. We literally have a couple more minutes to even make it 17-0 headed into the second half. They're even going to give us a look where we might be able to find our senior receiver deep. I think we are going to find David DeMarco. He hasn't done much throughout the year, but David DeMarco is coming alive when it matters the most. We are literally going to just fry USC. We got to keep him out of the end zone for a minute. If we can, though, this is the exact type of revenge I was hoping for. This is so much sweeter than the way that they took us down. That's not a catch, right? Tyler Groupie is literally everywhere. Go ahead. Throw it to him again. Throw it to him again. That just can't be open. That just can't be caught. You know, there might be open receivers out there for the Trojans. I really haven't been able to tell, but I feel like we have covered most of their options, especially on the plays where there was an interception. For us, the smart thing to do from here is honestly just take it to the half. We already have a really nice lead. When have we ever done the smart thing, though? We're still going to try and run the football a couple times, see if we can bust off some really nice runs. It's not going to hurt us to take some chances, though that's a situation where we'd fumble. I'm actually surprised that we didn't. One more run to end this first half, just because we can. I am so happy with how all of that went. It literally could not have been better. We have to still start the 3rd quarter strong, though, before we can be 100% comfortable. The thing is, if they are able to force a fast 3 and out, this game is not over. They could still be in it. That was a major play right there where it just gives them even less hope than they already had. Enrico Camarda with back-to-back huge plays. We are not just controlling this game, we are owning it. It's actually unbelievable. This is how it's going after our first matchup. They don't have the home field advantage, though, and they aren't going to guard Damian Hendricks. We are now 10 yards away from basically guaranteeing our spot in the national championship game, and I'm getting close. That wasn't even open, but I just wanted to try and force it in there. Interesting, though, for them to get in that free. With a kick return to the 42-yard line, there is a little bit of momentum on the Trojans' side at the moment. It's just hard to imagine that last anyway. 2nd and 8, it's a run. It's a run. We pass committed. They could have had more. I've really been pass committing almost the entire game because of how much they throw the football. I feel like it's the smart thing to do. We just got destroyed deep, and he bust off of multiple tackles for a touchdown. Okay, this is where I get nervous. What I say about Steve Watford, he could come alive. I also gave up a touchdown with my user. There were touchdowns all over the field, but I just realized USC decided to kick an extra point. They are willing to still be trailing by 3 possessions headed into the 4th quarter. I mean, they're all over the counter. Very interesting stuff, though. What can we do with Malik? I guess we're not going to make him miss. It's going to be 3rd and 7. I will hang on to this ball and take a sack just so we don't throw a pick. We tried to climb up in the pocket. It didn't really go our way, but they sent a lot of people in trying to block that punt. We are back on defense. We are going to make no adjustments. We're just going to sit back in coverage and really make them beat our defense. If they can do that, more power to them, but they need fast scores. If anything, we should be shading over top. We don't want to give up anything too deep, and we almost made it there. Well, on 3rd and inches, I can only assume that they're going to run this just to move the chains. That's okay. Every single time they have to call another play, more and more time is running off of the clock. They have not hit hurry-up mode yet, which is also odd because they're down by 17. They just aren't taking this as urgently as they should. Looks like the wide receiver screen will get them close to a 1st down. That is exactly what we want, though. My entire plan is working. We are dropping off. We're letting them take their few yard gains at once, and we should be fine to win. We just had such a strong first half. There's not much they can do. It is finally kicked on to them that they got to stay in hurry-up mode, though, so we're about to see them moving it a little bit faster. These tackles are just such a big deal because it's 3rd and 1. They aren't even going to run it here. They're going to throw, and it's a jump pass down at the 5. I want to just sit here and say it's too late for them. I want to gloat, but that is not the right thing to do against the computer until you can get them to throw another interception. I swear, USC is trying to lose this game, but we're just not able to get it done. The onside kick, we are going to scoop up, so that is a big catch from Tyrell Toon. USC is about to start pulling out their timeouts as well to stop us. I'm a little bit curious if we could just shred their defense through the air. That was obviously not the right decision, though, even though we would have had him open. We're just going to wait on him to run that route. And there he is. Merrill staying inbounds too. I know a couple of y'all might have gotten a little bit worried after we found ourselves on that 3rd and 9 after they only had to use a timeout so far. It does seem like we are going to be okay. With 1 first down, we can just take a knee, and we're going to have that right here. I don't even want to score. We got pushed in. I think we all know that one more interception would be the sweetest ending to this game possible, but we couldn't get out there even though we knew where it was going. USC is still not done yet. And there it is. They're going to make it to 21. I was hoping to actually hold them to scoreless or 7. It's okay, though. The most important thing is we are headed to the national championship with Hawaii. There have been moments where Jarius Lemon hasn't been the best either, and we still got here. With 1 win, we are going to get it done with the Rainbow Warriors. The national championship is going to be against Ole Miss as well. I don't know how to feel about this because you would assume Ohio State's a little bit more feared, except they've lost multiple games this season, and Ole Miss won the SEC. On top of that, in comparing the rosters, Ole Miss has a 99 speed receiver. They have 2 corners that can really lock us down. They have a good defensive tackle, a good edge. They have a quarterback with 92 speed, Phillip Poole. Their running back, Rashawn Godwin, 93 speed. This is going to be a very tough game for us. We are still not going to have Doug McClain back either due to his broken wrist. He's out for another 2 weeks. You know, I've kind of gotten over that, though. This is our opportunity to get it done with Hawaii. We don't know when the next time will be that we're in this position. You could always just assume that next season we work our way back here, but that is never guaranteed in football. You saw the way that we lost to USC the first time, and Ole Miss has a better offense than we do. They just don't have better defense. We will see what ends up winning out in the end, as this is the biggest game in Hawaii football history. That trophy right there could be ours. If we just play 60 minutes of good football, we could be taking that home. The nerves are definitely kicking in a little bit. I wasn't expecting for us to get this far with the Rainbow Warriors this season. It is a very winnable game for us, though. And we just got to follow our blockers here. Follow the blockers. You know, without Doug McClain, it takes a little hit to our offense, but not a major one. It's next season where he is going to be a lot more needed. We can just run halfback dive on the first play and let Rico Camarda get 8. If the Rebels are going to let us do that over and over again, why would we do anything else? He's actually going to get even more here. Just like that, though, you see how many guys there trying to pack in to stop the run, and he can cut to the outside and turn this upfield. I thought he had it all the way. This is actually nuts. This is the best we've come out running the football. However, now we got Alani Jalapio in. It's like the second that happens, we just aren't able to block it all. We want to get Ronnie Malik on a drag. I feel like he gets open on those a lot of the time. And if we hit him in stride, then we tend to do a little bit more with it. We are locking in for this 3rd and 12. We're going to watch our crosser, and we got to get that above his head. Did he get his feet down? He did. We're actually coming out playing amazing offense in this national championship game. We are trying to set the tone. It is 2nd and 5. Another run, another run. You know, typically, I don't think I'm a big fan of running on 3rd and 3. But we got the guy for it. We got the guy for it. I thought the halfback direct was going to work, and this is shaking all over. Our meter is shaking quite a bit for a short kick. That is a lot of pressure. We'll see how good this Ole Miss offense is. On paper, I mean, they look scary. Isaiah Anthrop is obviously the receiver we have to worry about. I just don't know how bad it'll actually be. Now, he could have beat us deep there. He could have beat us deep. We missed him. Okay, we got to lock in. I don't think I want control of any of our deep zones. I think we're just going to stay on the linebackers this game. That's what we did last week. Mainly with Groupie as well, but they're having success. That isn't the end of the world. We can watch them drive all the way down the field and then just force an interception. They are going to be able to hit a field goal, though, if we don't get a turnover. Tie things up at 3-3. One thing that we might need to try, though, is man-to-man coverage. I'm a little bit scared for it, but then we're not giving up stuff like this. I mean, right here, it seems like they're going to run. We are shaded inside in case those guys are on slants. There we go. We know exactly what we're looking for in this situation. Go ahead. Hand that football off and see what happens here. Okay, they pulled it. Force it. Force it. See what happens. This is such a big 3rd and goal play, but they decided to run the ball. I don't know why. However, they're going for it on 4th down. We made the tackle. We made the tackle. That is such a dumb way for that drive to end. We could have had the stop. Ronnie Malik gets brought down. We had absolutely 0 issues running the football versus the Rebels, though, on that first drive, which is a major deal. Some teams have extremely good run defense. They don't seem to be one of those. And I wanted to throw the slant. I also wanted to throw that away, but we didn't do either. Somehow that made it 3rd and 19. I mean, we just can't take a safety here. We could try to force it to David DeMarco. He's short. Okay, we're going to have to punt it back to Ole Miss. Our defense has been good all season. We can't be stressing about that. The only thing we can learn from it is just continue to run the football. We should have run, and now we're giving this up. They're about to have another 12-15. What is it going to take for Phillip Poole to make a mistake? How are we going to bait him into making one? I mean, our defensive line is. I feel like it's always on us. It's never on any of the teams we face. It's hard because they're already on a 2nd and inches due to it. And, I mean, we've run this play. We should have known that was an option. Okay, we're watching the bubble. We're going to stop the run. Everything is all good. Ole Miss is going to have a corner route here, but if they tried to force it, it would have been a major mistake. And that's what 92 speed does. I'm going to be honest, there's just not much more that we could do about that. I was prepared if that was a bubble or a screen. From this point forward, though, we really do need to make sure we have a spy out there on every single 3rd down. That's a first. We were not able to keep him out of the end zone from this spot either the last time. I'm hoping with the QB spy, though, we are able to. They did a lot of running. I mean, Ole Miss is just running. I was prepared if they tried to throw it. I just don't really think that day is coming. 3rd and goal. Okay, it's actually a throw. We're waiting on one of these routes to try and develop, and he just takes off. We have the spy for a reason. You know, this is the most aggressive team we've played, and you can't be jumping. Oh, it's on them. It's on them. I was asking for this. They're going to have to kick. They were really going to go for it on another 4th and goal, potentially making it 14-3. Thank goodness. I mean, that could have potentially ruined morale for us. Now we just need to run the ball effectively for 2 minutes. We can get down the field in 2 minutes, and we'll be able to have things tied at halftime. Here on 2nd and 5, we are following 79 or not. They finally shut down the run a little bit, and We're going to have David DeMarco hang on to it. Okay, it's back to these pistol formations. I feel like when we have a little extra time to run downhill, that is when he was doing the most damage. You know how this works, though. We have to see if play action can do anything for us as well. That should have been it. What else do I say to that? I mean, we literally threw it into his hands, and he just dropped it. I mean, that could have been a pick six. That could have been 14-3 or 17-3. I'm a little bit rattled, but I do want to go back to our bread and butter here. Surely we are going to get Merrill open, or we are going to find Higdon. He's not been out there much. I'm actually not happy at all that that is who we were leaning on for that huge third down. But you know what? He was able to get his separation. And there is Jarius Lemon taking us to the 2. We can end this half at 10-10. We can end this half at 10-10. We read that wrong. We were just too quick to react there for no reason at all. I think we should have this inside zone, though. And there it is. Talk about an even game. This one has been hard on us, but he just exploded out of there. Rashawn Godwin is not somebody to take lightly. It's why we are going to bring so many guys into the box for this play. And they have him. I don't like how much Ole Miss is spreading out the field, spreading out our defense with all of their formations. But it also could be seen as a little bit easier to stop sometimes. We just have to figure it out like we did right there. 2nd and 13. Tight end's not open. Tight end's not open. He's got way too much time. Okay. Now we just protect the sticks. We bring over an extra defensive back to help there. And it is all on us to not give this up. Are they trying to run? They actually are trying to run here. Make the tackle. Make the tackle. You all just saw what I saw as well. Somehow he got out of that, and we are just fortunate that he stepped out of bounds because that could have turned into a lot more. Ronnie Malik is not going to get far. Back to running the football we go, though. Back to trying to pound it down Ole Miss's throats. Are the Rebels going to have an answer to our rushing attack? They did there. That was actually the best defense they've had against the run, but there's an opportunity for a huge play. There's an opportunity for a huge play. You just got to put it in his hands. I have gotten on David DeMarco multiple times throughout the year, mainly Ronnie Malik, but also David DeMarco and other receivers for not catching the football. But he's had a couple huge catches in this game. Enrico Camardo is off to the races. A touchdown for the sophomore running back, a mean one at that. We have now got ourselves one step closer to the Hawaii National Championship, and it's all because of that run. He is literally feasting. It is not even a question. There was an option for them to throw that. We are going to be in a tough spot here, though, giving up the first. Okay, what are they going to do next? Are they just going to run it again? We missed him. I'm seeing the lights. I'm seeing the success. I'm seeing all the potential of us actually getting this done with the Hawaii, but we're not there yet. They are about to just run a little RPO, break another tackle, and there's a face mask. We definitely cannot be getting too excited now because they are making a lot of progress. We might want to give them a different look. Cover one has not really led us astray this year. I feel like Joey Cheek should have picked that football off, though. Are they going to try and get a little bit of it back here? No, they're going for a bigger gain. I do think that they are in field goal range, but we can at least make sure that is all they get out of this drive by holding it down here. And we just got put in a blender. I didn't even know what direction to try and take Dwayne Fogg. Phillip Poole is just so fast, and we got caught on our own line. We were there. We could have sniffed that one out. Not that it would make that much of a difference, but we are headed into the fourth quarter, up by 7, about to be tied. I mean, my favorite thing to do from this position is run commit. It didn't work. Ronnie Malik, if you were ever to get a kick return for a touchdown in your career, this would be the sickest one. We're also going to have to sub in 5-star Mafu Fine because Kadem Biggums is injured. That's our leading sack leader. No, we're going to keep him in with elbow sweatband. Now is not the time to be worrying about young guys getting playing time. No, now is the time for us to clutch this one out. That's a good tackle. Okay, if they're going to stop the run that way, are they going to stop it out of pistol? I'm not going to pass it. I'm not going to learn the same lessons we've learned time and time again. If they get us to a 3rd and 11, though, it's a little bit of a different story. This is our signature play on 3rd and 11. Ronnie Malik is ideally the read that we get this football to, but we should have thrown it sooner. We should have thrown it sooner. It was so hard to tell if he was going to get open there or not, and he did, but we didn't hit him in time, so Ole Miss has it back. What do they think that they're going to do against us, though? That won't work. We are going to be so locked in defensively here Go ahead. Go ahead. See if you can run the football. We're going to make sure we have a QB spy out there for third down. This is the coverage we're dropping back to. Pass commit. Protect the sticks. Really? You know, I have to say, there's a lot of talent on this team, but their play calling is the most questionable I think we have faced in this series. Ronnie Malik, you should have caught that. Okay. No. He automatically went for the fair catch. He automatically did the fair catch, so it didn't even register in my brain that when we picked it up, that's where it was going to be at. All I wanted to do was try and return that kick with him. Now, we're going to have to give it back to Ole Miss. That is unless I cook up something special here. And by the looks of it, Higdon should get open. I think we're going to look for Romo, though. Let's just see what Ole Miss does here. No sack. No sack. Okay, we're good. We're good. Rodney Merrill puts us where we should have been. That actually had me so nervous. I thought that I was about to choke away our chance off of one of the dumbest mistakes I think I've made throughout this entire series. With those last couple of plays, though, there is no reason for us to do anything besides try and run the football first and foremost. There's 3 minutes left in this game. All we have to do is get a field goal, and we can take home this national championship. Going to be 3rd and 3. I'm thinking that we should have Rodney Merrill on his slant too. Maybe Ronnie Malik on the comeback route. It is man-to-man coverage. And Rodney Merrill gets open again. Okay, now we're starting to actually threaten versus the Rebels. Could this be a big run? Could this be a big run? They are going to have no choice but to start calling timeouts. The national championship is so close. I can feel it. I can feel it. They're not calling timeouts either, which I find a little bit odd. I should have turned on 2 clock. Does Ole Miss not think that we can't hit a field goal from here? I'm very confused. They're still not calling timeouts. We're set up. Okay, there it is. What we really need is the first down just so we can run out the rest of the clock now. But we have an opportunity to get it, and he should have that on the cut. You know what? We'll just be happy with our 3. We will play some defense. We could have taken the chance with our drag. I didn't even look at him. I didn't know about the separation because I figured once we had man-to-man coverage there, we had a good enough receiver to get open in that spot. That would have been the worst interception I think I've ever thrown, though. We got a flag. I was trying to get over there to pick this ball. At the end of the day, though, it's on Bigham, so it's nothing we haven't seen throughout the rest of the year. I think the guy I want to use is going to be Tyler Groupie in this situation. They're running again. The only reason I don't love using a linebacker with this type of formation is I can't really tell if there's going to be a slant. Why are they still running? Okay, you know what? We'll just take over Dwayne Fogg. Watch him. Not there. Not there. Make the tackle. Ole Miss doesn't have any timeouts left, so they are going to start panicking very soon. We're all over it. We're all over it. No way. There is no world where that's not an interception for Dwayne Fogg. He made that diving catch on us instead. They could still mess up. They don't have timeouts left. I feel like the computer messes up in situations like this. Watch the drag. Watch the drag. He actually threw it, too, with 2 guys over there. Okay. They're going to spike this ball, and they're going to kick 3. I do not want this one to go to overtime, please. Please, let's ice him. Let's ice him. I was so lost, I almost didn't even ice him there. We don't typically go for the block, too, but we're going to go for the block in this situation. Mess up. Mess up. You don't have what it takes. You don't have what it takes. He might have what it takes. Imagine the scenes, though. Imagine the scenes if this is a kick return. A kick return for Ronnie Malik for a national championship to end his career. The 4-time Jet Award winner goes nowhere. Okay, well, I think it is only fair that Rico Camarda gets one final chance to just end this game. I mean, he could take off for a lot. That was just never going to lead to a touchdown, though, was it? I don't know why, but I felt like that was our best chance at it. We are headed to overtime. I hope that we get on defense first. It looks like Ole Miss is going to select tails, and they won the toss. So, no, we are going to have to be on offense first, and they still can't stop our rushing attack. There were multiple times in this game where I thought we had it in the bag. We did not come this far to lose now. This is 4-down territory. We are not kicking 3. I will tell you that right now. I will tell you that right now. Break through that tackle. Break through that tackle. Okay, from the 6. This is a little bit dicier of a situation. I'm not sure if we have to actually run this because I just feel like we could get open. We could get open, and they got a hand on it. Okay, we're going to go back to my favorite formation for a play. If we don't try one inside zone, I'm never going to forgive myself. Just see if the blocks are there, and they are. Well, it is going to be on our defense to win us a national championship. That is the best case scenario. All it takes is one mistake. All it takes is one turnover, and Hawaii has made history. Does Ole Miss have what it takes to win a national championship? I don't think they do. I don't think they do, because the Hawaii native ends it with an interception. The sophomore gets the pick, and that is how the Rainbow Warriors are going to win their first national championship. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. We actually got it done. Season 7, too. Now I really have to decide, what else do we do with this series? This honestly has happened much sooner than I imagined. I thought we were, at the very least, going to see guys like Rico Camarda graduate, and we still should. I have my ideas. I have my thoughts. You all will obviously see in the next episode, but that means the rest of this video is still very important for how we build up our roster. Our Dynasty points budget is actually less than it was the year before. I'm not exactly sure how that's happened, because I imagined stuff like our program tradition and our brand exposure would go up a lot more by winning a national championship. It is very clear that that has somehow not fluctuated, though, and if we want guys like Tyler Groupie to come back for his senior year, well, we're going to pay him a bag, and I think he's worth every penny. I'll tell you right now, for the most part, we are going to bring back basically everybody. I didn't even want to pay Orson Romo, but he's from Hawaii, so we're going to give the receiver his money, even if he rarely steps on the field. Tyler Carrizosa, he could make for a good backup, but we just spent over $200 NIL on another backup. We are also going to keep on getting more commits, and the transfer portal period could be our biggest one, coming off of a national championship. We might have been able to get it done with Hawaii, but you don't build a dynasty off of just one championship. There is a lot of people that might not think it is possible for us to do it again. So after we convince a couple of these players to potentially stay, or they decide to leave, now we can sort by all of the highest overall guys that are going away from the roster. And without David DeMarco, without Damian Hendricks, without Ronnie Malik on our offense, and then Tony Coleman blocking, are we able to find the same level of success? Can we do it without Dwayne Fogg and Max Banks and Tyrell Toon? All those guys were really big contributors for us. Even Joey Cheeks made some huge defensive plays. Connor Sims won many defensive awards. Sam Zambrano was big on our defensive line alongside Bobby Whitaker. Jamison Cummins was a starter for us this past season. Nick Berkovici was a good kicker, but not that good. He wasn't the best one we've ever had. The point is, with all of these guys departing from the program, even though this is going to help our pro potential to put this many guys into the NFL, how are we able to continue building from here? Are we going to keep on signing these really good-looking classes for a Pac-12 team? Are we going to keep winning championships? I would like to think the answer is yes, but we have to be able to build out of the transfer portal still and continue to make our roster better and better. I find it very interesting Moses Drew entered, but we aren't able to offer him anything. It would have been really cool to steal a player from Miami that we were able to take down. It also would be neat to take one of these Notre Dame running backs that we played against this past season. Ultimately, though, I think these 4-star transfers are better than the 5-star transfers, because these are guys that have the potential to have a much higher overall. We're going to continue to see where our positions of need are. We might look at some of these transfers that have us in first place, and we'll just see what we're able to actually land and add to our team. Through a couple of weeks, we are going to start making some signings, but it's actually only that one signing, while also getting locked out of some battles like this one for the 5-star tight end, John Roseboom. That's a big deal because we need a tight end, and we're trying to catch up for the 3-star, but there were no 4-star tight ends. That was the only good tight end we could go after. We also are falling behind after offering 100 NIL to Brian Philbin. Now, he is 96 speed, so I thought he'd make for a good backup running back, but we're not going to spend that much on a backup. In fact, we're not going to spend that much on this other 3-star either. I think the guy I wanted the most was Abdul Gales, but with our visit, we still couldn't get him to commit, so we might have to offer him even more money. He's one of the best corners in the country, so in my mind, he might be worth the $300 we're paying. It's really true that the main solution to win a lot of these is just going to be paying even more money than we really wanted to, but we're spending on competing for another national championship, so I have to think it's worth it. We'll have a really good idea what our team could look like with guys like Abdul Gales signing with us headed into the final week of the transfer portal, too. We signed some 3-star transfers back from Hawaii that we didn't originally get out of high school, but other teams have developed. We are ultimately going to bring in about 25 guys because we lost out to USC on Henry Ficken. Even though we were able to beat USC this season, they're still the bigger school. Washington took this left tackle away from us. Abdul Gales is sticking with Hawaii. He is star development. That's another thing I want to note. Looking at some of these transfers, what we really want to see is an elite dev, and that's what we found with Trayvon Lampman, who already has 99 speed. We could not have gotten luckier at the receiver position. We might take somebody like Levi Vick, move him over to tight end, and Ben Kraft is just going to be a good backup with 98 awareness as a running back. This class is going to finish number 17 in the country. We spent $2,200 on it. I mean, that is quite a bit to spend on a class. It is going to decimate whatever Boise State does. To my surprise, though, we didn't have the number 1 transfer class. That would belong to Notre Dame. We're still going to have another $1,200 available inside our Dynasty points budget as well. So we're most likely just going to reduce NIL expectations for players as much as we can. We have started to spend more money, and we really need to figure out how we're going to continue to make more alongside it. Levi Vick makes an 84 overall tight end. He's just 206 pounds, but he's 6'5". With the 3-star we signed only being a 75 overall, we had to move somebody else over there to be a good receiving threat. We are also going to get dev trade upgrades on guys like Rico Camarda. He is now moved to Impact because of the season he had. What really matters to me, though, is how guys like Jarius Lemon progress. He's up to 85 speed, 80 acceleration. He's still going to have about another 10 points to just put into IQ. I don't know how important IQ really is, considering that we are going to be controlling him. It is still something to spend on, though, and we're going to be capped out at 84 juke move with Rico Camarda. If we're just being real, his skill caps really stink, whereas with Tyler Group, we've been able to get him up to a 91 overall user, 92 speed. He is basically perfect awareness and play rec. He is probably going to be our best defensive player, even though Abdul Gales is also up there with his 90-man coverage, his 94 zone coverage, and his 94 speed. The money that we have spent on this roster is well worth it. Trayvon Lampman is going to be a 90 overall receiver with his 99 speed, and this is a new guy that we're adding to our core. I really don't want to give too much else away, though, with what we're working with in the future with Hawaii, with where we could still take this series. I hope you all enjoyed our first national championship, but we have a dynasty to build, and there's still a lot more work that I want to do.